Sunbelt Conference football on ESPN+. We have reached the end of the line here in this 2025 season. Today it's Appalachian State and Arkansas State doing battle, trying to keep their season going. Just one more game. Hello again, everybody. I'm David Jackson alongside Avery Hall. A pleasant good afternoon to you from the Rock, Kid Brewer Stadium. Avery, this is a matchup between two teams that are used to playing in postseason. Both of them still have those aspirations today.
Makes for an exciting football game. Arkansas State has played in 2 consecutive bowl games. Appalachian got acclimated by going to 7 consecutive bowl games and have played in 8 bowl games in 10 seasons. So they both have tasted success and would like to do so again this year.
This is one of 2 head-to-head matchups in the league this weekend that features 5 and 6 teams. In all, there are 6 squads now that have bowl eligibility on their minds today. All of those teams doing battle this afternoon. There could be as few as 2 that punch their ticket onto postseason. There could be as many as 4. That could give the Sun Belt as many as 9 bowl eligible teams by the end of this day.
Talks a little bit about the just the difficulty of the Sun Belt Conference. Again, you've got 5 teams eligible already. You've got 2 that are playing today head-to-head, Marshall and Georgia Southern, Arkansas State and Appalachian. Then you got ULL, University of Louisiana Monroe, that's playing at Texas State that could become eligible, or Texas State could become eligible. So again, lots of excitement. Great way to finish this 2025 Sun Belt football season.
Speaking of finishing things, Dowell Loggins finishing his first season as the head coach of Appalachian State, 5 and 6, of course, at this point in time. Coach Loggins getting the opportunity to do a little bit of that senior day festivity earlier today as he finishes off his first campaign as the head coach of Appalachian State. There you see Coach Loggins on that Mountaineer sideline that's got at least 5 space heaters that we can count at this point. On the other side of things, Butch Jones in his 5th season at Arkansas State. He is a part of Appalachian State trivia, if you will. Butch Jones was the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers back in the 2016 season when App State went over to Neyland Stadium and lost an overtime thriller. Butch Jones told us on a call on Wednesday that Jalen Hurd made the best play of his entire Tennessee career to win that game. I'm sure there's some people in App State black and gold throwing things at their televisions at this point in time, just bringing that back up. But he said that was one of those special moments in a long coaching legacy that he's had that has included 24 wins as the skipper at Arkansas State. The Red Wolves will kick it off. Clayton Amaya will do the honors, sophomore out of Spring Branch, Texas, as the Red Wolves will kick it off to an App State team that is looking for a special team spark. If there was a deficiency, if you will, last time out for the Red Wolves, it was kickoff cover against Louisiana. Another one of those thrilling matchups we'll talk about that has been part of a roller coaster season for the Red Wolves. Kickoff is away. Kamani Alexander will let it sail out of the back of the end zone. And the Mountaineers will come out looking to spark an offense that had one of its lowest production outings in terms of total offense last week, but they got the job done largely because of Trig Lewis, the 2nd highest rushing total by a freshman in the FBS era for App State.
He did a fantastic job last week. Not only was he patient, waiting, for his blocks to develop, but he had good vision, good balance, just did an outstanding job running the football last week.
App State last week, 276 yards of total offense, and again, Trig Lewis carried a good bit of that load. That was the lowest total offensive number in a win for App State since all the way back on the 9th of November 2019. The Mountaineers had 202 yards against the South Carolina Gamecocks in a win down in Columbia. First handoff of the game, and the Mountaineers going to keep this one on the ground. That's Rashad DeBinion, who will plug ahead 10 yards on the opening touch of the ball game. DeBinion needed 172 to get his 1,000th rushing yard of the season. That looked like it was going to be a foregone conclusion about 5 weeks into the year. Ethan Hassler on that opening tackle. Mountaineers will see 2nd and a short 1 as Cole trying to get out of trouble. Fires a pass back toward the sideline. That's incomplete to Mbake. This is the Arkansas State defensive line, Avery Hall, that Butch Jones really feels can disrupt the line of scrimmage this afternoon.
It's going to be tough inside for Griffin Scroggs, Will Flowers and Caden Sweat. That's our right guard, our center, and our left guard. They've got to block Simeon Mitchell and Sigler up front. Cody Sigler, he's one of the better defensive linemen I've seen at 6'3", 297 pounds. Very active in the middle there.
Cole on 3rd and 1, passes to Mbake, tried to get that 35-yard gain. They'll spot him at the 36. That'll move the chains for Appalachian State here. You know, for the first time today.
We talked about last week about Keese, the game. We said that Appalachian's offensive line has to establish, you know, the line of scrimmage and you know, whether it's like 5 on 4, 5 on 5, they've got to block well. Well, today they've got a task in blocking, you know, Simeon Mitchell and Cody Sigler. But also, too, they've got 2 very, very active defensive ends, and, you know, DeMarcus Hendricks and Ethan Hasler. And so it's going to be tough to run inside. It's going to be tough to run on the perimeter because they do have 5 defensive backs, really 3 safeties and 2 cornerbacks in that third level of defense. So Appalachian's going to have to find a way to run the zone and kind of turn it up probably sooner than they want to on that zone run option.
I think it's so cold. I think the chains froze over on the other side there. They had to get the get the sticks stretched out. About 35 degrees at kickoff, the lowest temperature for a kickoff in the FBS era, if you were wondering. Credit Jim Cantori for that. Here's Trig Lewis, first carry of the game. There he goes. Shakes a tackler into Red Wolf territory. Trig Lewis picking up right where he left off. Brandon Barnes on the stop for Arkansas State. Another movement of the chains for App State.
I tell you, watch this play action by Coles here. Again, he fakes that throw. That holds that safety just 1 second. Good play action by J.J. Cole there.
Lewis taking that inside handoff across the 40-yard line to the 39. Lewis, 33 carries, $175, 2 touchdowns last week, his career best. Again, the 2nd best rushing total of any running back this year. Have to go all the way back to those big productive days for Rashad Dubinion in weeks 1 through 3 to see where the App State ground game has quite honestly been relevant over the portion of the season. Here's Mbake below the numbers to the 30-yard line. That's a first down catch. Avante Dickerson in on the stop for Arkansas State. Mountaineers move the chains for the 3rd time on the drive.
I like that play call on 2nd and 7. Take a look here. Offensive line gives them enough protection. That's a quick throw, knows exactly where he's going. Good catch and good yards after the catch.
1st and 10, App State, opening drive of the ball game. And these 2 teams both 5 and 6. One of 2 matchups today in Sun Belt play that have the winner getting bowl eligible. To the 28-yard line, Trig Lewis into the arms of Aaron Alexander, team's leader in tackles. He was a redshirt at UMass, 2 seasons at Michigan State, had 9 stops last time out. That was Thursday night, so about 9 days ago, against the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana. One of 2 consecutive games that Arkansas State has lost on the last possession of the game, last play of the game for that matter. Fake to Lewis. Cole looking deep, across the middle, got a man, and it's dropped. Dylan Galloway was smelling his 2nd touchdown of the season, and he just couldn't get contorted around to make the catch.
Wow, what a well-executed play. Unfortunate drop by Galloway. He's going to think about that. Take a look at this tight end. It looks like he's on block. He goes down the seam. Again, that's a touchdown all day, every day in any scheme. If you just hang on to the football, well executed play early in this football game.
Brandon Barnes, the closest man to him at safety. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8 play. Lewis in motion toward the bottom of your screen. Cole coming that way. We'll get it to him in the backfield. Nice block from Larkins there, as Lewis will take the football inside the 25-yard line. They'll spot him right on the 25. That'll keep him about 5 yards shy. Joe Drew along with Brandon Barnes in on the stop. So on 4th down, the field goal unit out. Dominic DeFreitas with 2 field goals last week, a 32-yarder and a 23. He has made each of his last 8. This would be a 43-yard effort. He is 5 of 8 from that range this year. For the first points of the game, very little wind at field level. Snap down, hold is good. The kick on its way, it's trying to get there, and it is good. A 43-yarder for Dominic DeFreitas, and the Mountaineers on the board. Check that 53-yarder for Dominic DeFreitas as the Mountaineers get points on the opening drive. Arkansas State with the ball when we come back. De Freitas, the first points of this afternoon here in Boone. 10-play, 50-yard drive on the opening possession for App State. Used about 3:45 off the clock, and the Mountaineers get points. One of those kind of keys to this one is who wants this one more. App State got to this point after being drubbed by James Madison 2 weeks ago. They found a way last week against Marshall, forced 3 turnovers, 2 of them late in that game. And like we mentioned earlier, Arkansas State has had a chance to wrap up bowl eligibility a couple of times, but they have fallen in back-to-back games on the final play. Jalen Rayner is going to be the guy to lead them to postseason if it's going to happen today. One of the more accomplished quarterbacks, not only in Sun Belt play, Avery Hall, but he is rewriting the record books in Jonesboro.
I mean, he has done an outstanding job. Since his freshman year, he's thrown for over 2,500 yards each season and has over 8,000 yards in his career, and has just been a phenomenal leader for this Red Wolves football team.
Played for Todd Willert just down the road from here at East Forsyth High School in Kernersville. This is the first time that he has played a game in his native state of North Carolina. His handoff to Devin Spencer, started right, comes back left, comes right back into a pile of tacklers. Rondo Porter amongst the first to him. So it's a 4-yard pickup. A lot of real estate ran there for Devin Spencer, who averages about 12 touches a game, had 110 total yards last week against Louisiana, 71 rushing, 39 in the air. Second down and 4. Here's Rayner looking left. He's got Spencer coming out of the backfield, first down and more across the 40, and is sent out of bounds by Ethan Johnson. First down, Arkansas State.
You know, Jalen has a bunch of weapons around him. You talk about Devin Spencer, who can catch the ball out of the backfield and help in that horizontal passing game. You got Corey Rucker, Chauncey Cobb. Chauncey Cobb's another small guy. He's 5'6", 163. They like to get the ball to him in space. So Rayner has a bunch of weapons around him.
Fake handoff on the end around. It's Corey Rucker coming back near side. Looked like he was set up to throw, and then carries the football across the 47-yard line. Aiden Benton, who was a game-time decision for App State, stayed with Rucker and was able to make the tackle after a gain of 5.
Good job by Benton. You talk about Benton. I mean, he's just going to keep hustling and really doesn't give Rucker a cutback, so he has to just go forward. And again, good open field tackle by the Mountaineers.
Emory Floyd in there on the stop as well. Second down and 5 coming up for the Red Wolves. It's Rayner on the run. He brings this element to the game, trying to get that corner and can't do it. Elijah McCantos on the tackle. Jalen Rayner last week against Louisiana ran for 54 yards. He is a true dual threat quarterback, and the Mountaineers kept that threat to a minimal 2-yard gain.
He has over 408 yards rushing as a quarterback this year. To put that in proper perspective, DJ, we think the world here at Appalachian of Jakari Lewis. Jakari Lewis only had 455 yards coming to this football game as a runner. Jalen Rayner has 408 yards as a runner at quarterback.
40% on third downs are these Red Wolves. That's 9th in the Sun Belt entering play this afternoon. Here's Rayner underneath, trying to hit Rucker, got it to him, but he's a yard shy of the sticks. He caught the football at the 49-yard line of App State territory, the line to gain the 48, and it looks like the punt unit coming out. Caleb Sandstrom really brought the wood to Corey Rucker on the catch.
Caleb Sandstrom, and then again, you just have to, with Abrams, Verwain, Manuel Porter, those guys have to, once again, have controlled a rush as they go after the quarterback this week, because you want to put pressure on him to make him uncomfortable throwing the football, but you also have to make sure you cover your gap so that he doesn't gash you running the football.
Jackson on Jackson crime setting up here. Jackson Waller punting away to Jackson Greer. Greer calls for the fair catch, falls down to a knee at the 9-yard line, and that is where the Mountaineers of Appalachian State will have it for their second drive of the game. Timeout on the field here in Boone. It's a chilly one. The action starting to heat up between App State and Arkansas State right here at the Rock. People so excited here, they're standing on their friends' shoulders, dressed like bananas. I don't know if that's leftovers from Thanksgiving, but it's great to see so many people made it back to Kid Brewer Stadium on a holiday weekend for a game that's got deep meaning for both of these teams. They are used to postseason success, as we touched on at the top of the broadcast. And I tell you what, the diehards had to want it today. There's some cold fannies out there sitting on all that aluminum right now because the temperature in the 30s. As the sun goes down, so will the thermometer as we work throughout this afternoon here in Boone. Mountaineers up 3-0. A 43-yard field goal by Dominic DeFreitas on the opening drive. J.J. Cole with pressure coming to him. He's going to have to get out of that. Right on the goal line, a pile of tacklers. We'll see if they blow it dead, and they finally will at the 3-yard line. That was a drop of 7 yards on the play. Cody Siegler got in there in the mix, Avery Hall, and that's a guy that App State's going to have to contend with all day long.
Again, he's 6'3", 297, and very, very twitchy. I mean, just a very, very active defensive lineman there, as you can see. But I think that J.J. Cole actually held on to that football too long. You had trips to the field or the wide side of the field. He had an open guy on the inside, on the boundary side. He could have hit early and didn't.
Little stutter move by DeBinion on 2nd down from the 2. Gonna get him out to the 7. Aaron Alexander in on the stop. The duo up front of Cody Siegler in the middle and DeMarcus Hendricks from the outside of that end position. Those two guys have been part of a defensive renaissance that has seen Arkansas State put up video game numbers in tackles for loss and sacks over the last 3 weeks.
They've got over 30 sacks this season, and just been very aggressive up front, creating a lot of chaos. And let's be candid. These guys are very, very athletic. Coach, you know, Butch Jones does a fantastic job of recruiting. DJ, a lot of people don't realize that Arkansas State was the #1 and #2 recruiting class in the Sun Belt over the last 2 years. So he's done a fantastic job of recruiting players, but also retaining players as well.
Ian Ratliff last week, 47.7-yard average. He had a long of 70. That was the 8th longest punt in App State history. First above 70 since 2011. And great field position setting up for these Red Wolves on that punt. So Arkansas State in plus territory. When we come back to Boone, the Red Wolves down 3 here at the Rock. That flag not necessarily telling the full meteorological story here at Kidd Brewer Stadium. A little brisk breeze out there to go along with sub 40-degree temperatures. You got to do what you got to do to stay warm on a day like this. Dance, sit on your hands, whatever it happens to be. Arkansas State trying to rev up their offensive engine here. They're in plus territory to start their second drive of the game. A 42-yard punt by Ian Ratliff set the Red Wolves up just across midfield. Here's Rayner on the throw, and a caught pass by Rucker at the 32-yard line. So with that pass, Jalen Rayner now collecting his second top 10 passing season of his Arkansas State tenure.
As you see, he has a strong arm. Again, does a good job of, rolling out, buying a little more time. And there are 2 or 3 Mountaineers in that vicinity. He just, with his strong arm, got that ball in there.
Corey Rucker also chasing a milestone. More on that in a moment. Here's Kenyon Clay, his first carry inside the 30-yard line. Picks up about 6 yards on first down. Kevin Abrams-Verwain in on the tackle. Back to Rucker for a second. He needed 135 yards today for 4,000 for his Arkansas State career. He's got the most yards in Arkansas State and Sun Belt history and is one of the most productive active wide receivers in the FBS at this point in his career. Here's another pass across the middle. That's complete to Chauncey Cobb. Cobb will take the first down gain to the 15-yard line. DJ Burks gets him there. And Avery Hall, if you didn't have Rucker and had Chauncey Cobb, he'd be one of the most productive people. But right now, he's kind of the second man in a Batman and Robin situation at wide receiver.
Well, you think about it. Chauncey Cobb has 64 catches for 650 yards. He's a smaller guy, so he's that check down, or he's that guy to get the ball to in the horizontal passing game, to get the ball to in space and have him create plays or manufacture plays for this Arkansas State offense. But he is just as active as Corey Booker. Maybe doesn't have the 50 starts that Corey has, but lots of football played and very, very productive.
Fourth play of the drive setting up here. Second down and a long 7 inside the red zone. Rucker going to keep this one himself. Bust it out left. He's got some room to run. Trying to get the far corner. Still on his feet inside the 5-yard line, taking 6-7 different Mountaineers to try to stop him in forward progress. They'll mark him at the 5-yard line. Ethan Johnson was the one that finally tipped the scales.
Jalen Rayner really just turns into a running back here. He doesn't see anything inside, pops it outside. Now, last week as at this Appalachian defense faced Del Rio Wilson, you pretty much knew he was going to run the football and every now and then try and throw it over top. Jalen Rayner is truly a dual threat quarterback because he can throw the football. He can throw any of the routes, the angles. Again, he has great arm strength, but he can run the football, so he is truly a dual threat quarterback that can hurt you throwing the football and running.
Here's Clay up the middle, runs into a pile. There's a flag that comes in out of the defensive backfield. So we'll stop things at the 4 where Kenyon Clay is held up. We'll await word of the flag. Today's referee, as assigned by the Sun Belt Conference, is Tim Barker. And old Tim's been quiet today.
Well, they say if you're ref in the game, the people don't even need to know that you're there. Well, I guess he's trying to accomplish that, right?
We have told the
there
world
is no
about
foul for illegal substitution on the play. It's second down.
Tim, a man of few words on his first call of the day. Butch Jones would like him to elaborate further.
Talk about Butch Jones. What a guy. I mean, he's taken, took Cincinnati to 2 conference championships. Central Michigan won 2 MAC championships. Tennessee, since 2007, had a very, dormant program, but during his time there, he took them to 3 consecutive bowl games. He had a lot of success coaching football.
Clay trying to pound the rock. He gets stood up at the goal line again. Arkansas State trying to say he got in. The Mountaineers trying to say they held him out at the 1. This is an Arkansas State team that's had some red zone woes this year, 79.2%. That's 10th in the Sun Belt, 100th in the FBS. Last week they had a drive in at the 1 on the very last play. They're right back in that same territory again. 3rd down and 1. Handoff goes, and that's going to be shy once again.
It's a great defensive stance, and it looks like he may have fumbled the football.
Clay does not currently have the ball in his grasp.
Defense number 6 was lined up in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal line, 3rd down.
And the Mountaineers will see the penalty against them, an offsides penalty. give Arkansas State a fresh set of downs inside the 1.
I was going to talk about the great penetration, but maybe he got great penetration because he lined up in the neutral zone, but that looked like good penetration. Anytime you want to stop the running game in a short yard situation, you've got to get, your defensive linemen have to reestablish that line of scrimmage. But it looks like he lined up in the neutral zone. That's why he got so far in the backfield.
No fresh set of downs. Instead, half the distance. It's 3rd and inches now for Rayner, who stands in the shotgun. Now there's a jump up front. Looks like Baker North, the left guard, might have moved quick. And that's the initial signal is false start.
Offense, number 50.
That's they've got a young offensive line. You got Noah Smith, who's a left tackle. He's a veteran, had like 22 starts. And then you got Riley McGee, who's actually a sophomore, but still has 12 starts. But they're young on that offensive line, and that they kind of showed that by jumping there in that critical situation.
49th red zone trip for Arkansas State. They've scored 38 times, 24 of them touchdowns, 14 field goals. They've got to convert a 3rd and goal from the 6. And they want points. They want the touchdown, down 3-0. Rayner with the shotgun snap. He's got a man, and that's dropped. Devin Spencer had it. He takes 2 steps downfield, and he scores. Emory Floyd in coverage. That's the 2nd blatant drop, one on either side of this matchup here today.
I tell you what, Galloway, our tight end, dropped one earlier, and now Devin Spencer drops one. And he's had 22 receptions, 115 yards, so he's normally pretty sure-handed, but he dropped that one luckily for the Mountaineers. And that was a pretty good defensive stand there inside the 5. They ran about 4 plays inside the 5 and didn't get in the end zone, so pretty good job by Appalachian State's defense.
Clune Van Andel from 24. He's 5 of 7 from this distance this year. And he kicks that one halfway to Blowing Rock, right up the net. And we are tied up at 3. Clune Van Andel finishes the job. Arkansas State gets to the red zone, but they fail to capitalize. In pay dirt, they'll settle for the 3. We have got a tied-up ball game here at Avery Hall. I would not have expected this game to go much differently than what we've seen unfold thus far.
Both teams have a lot to play for. Like I said, they're both looking for bowl eligibility. And DJ, when you just really look at these 2 football teams, Arkansas State has lost a couple close ball games. You look at Appalachian State, I mean, you look at that Old Dominion and Georgia Southern games, they're 5 points away from winning those 2 games. Then take Coastal Carolina, they were ahead of Coastal Carolina after the 3rd quarter. So both of these teams have had some ups and downs, so a lot of ebbs and flows within the season. And they're playing hard today, and they're really both got acclimated or are acclimated to bowl games, so they want to get there, so they're playing hard. And both, you and I were talking earlier, Arkansas State, it seems like they don't know how to play a good football game unless it's a close game. So, again, I expect this one to be close today.
They had 2 one-point wins in back-to-back weeks. They lost 4 in a row, won 4 in a row. They have had the absolute textbook definition of a roller coaster season. App State sending 2 men to catch 1 football. Kamani Alexander comes out with it to the 22-yard line. This is a time of year on the athletic calendar that is meant for heroics, not only by players on the field, but by staff as well. So North Dakota State and Arkansas State played a basketball game yesterday in Jonesboro that tipped off at 2 o'clock Central Time. After that game was over, longtime radio broadcaster Matt Stoltz and sports information officer Mark Taylor drove 9.5 hours from Jonesboro to Boone. There's only one state that you cross into after you get to Arkansas. It's a long state, right? Wow. They got into Boone at 3:45 in the morning to get ready for this game today. And for all of you Red Wolf fans out there, Matt Stoltz does not miss broadcasts. So a little extra time on the drive. I don't know how many gas stations they hit on the way, but it's good to see that they were able to arrive before the sun came up this morning to make sure they were here for this one.
That's commitment, and once you get in that long state of Tennessee, I-40 is the longest interstate that you feel like you've ever driven coming into this part of North Carolina, but that shows a lot of dedication on their part.
2nd and 9 for App State. You get a 3-3 tie. Pair of first quarter field goals here as Trig Lewis gets loose up to the 25-yard line. Lewis had a long run of 23 on the opening possession. Cody Sigler in on the stop.
Good job by the offensive lineman, the interior offensive lineman, getting those big men away and providing a lane for Lewis to run in. Really good job by the tight end, too, trying to get a seal on the end, not allow him to collapse that hole there.
App State 1 of 3 on third down so far today. Cole to Lewis, catch, release up the 35-yard line, has the first down, a little bit more. Trig Lewis chased out by A.G. McGee, and a first down gain for App State.
Obviously, you got to have a lot of success running Lewis and DeBinion, in between the tackles and in his own offensive run game. But you also have to, maybe make those safeties think a little bit with the horizontal pass game. You have Jaden Barnes, who's out. You got Sam Mbake, who did a good job last week. But another way to kind of keep the defense honest is to get that ball to Lewis out in the flats and let him run after the catch.
Mbake went in motion to the bottom of your screen. Here's Stroman trying to come back against his body and does make the catch at the 49-yard line. Some pretty good athleticism there from Dalton Stroman. App State going to try to snap this thing as quickly as they possibly can, and here comes the flag. Yeah, here comes the stop for the replay. I was going to say, Dalton Stroman might have showcased some sort of master's degree he's earned in theater arts. Trying to say that he caught that ball. I think that's going to come back as a trap.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell, without seeing the replay again, but it did look like it touched the ground prior to him having control of it. But I really couldn't tell. But it was real clear that, let's see here. He throws that football. I don't know. He may have had a hand under it.
Dalton Stroman, one of the most athletic players on the Mountaineer roster. He was one of a handful of redshirt seniors that was honored on the field prior to play today. You know what? He might have got that thing.
I think he has a hand under it.
Hey, you know what? All apologies to his thespian career. It is a good one, and he didn't even have to use any of it.
Hey, man, he's going. You just kind of giving him a little energy there, because he may have proved us wrong there. It looks like he got his hand under it.
49th career game for Stroman. He came into play today needing 172 yards to move himself into the top 15 in App State receiving yardage totals. Over 1,500 yards in his Mountaineer career, and he's been one of those steadying forces. He was part of that crazy tip drill touchdown against Troy back years ago. It feels like forever ago now, but that was the college game day send-off, if you will, back when John Summerall was leading the Troy Trojans. Stroman was a part of that.
And speaking of Stroman, today is senior day, DJ, and you had 18 seniors, but you really want to say kudos to the 7 seniors who arrived as freshmen and, will leave Appalachian as graduates. Like Cal Arnott, Jordan Favors, David Larkins.
After video review, the ruling on the field has been upheld. First down, Appalachian State.
Jaden Ramsey, Dalton Stroman, as we were just talking about, Ethan Johnson, Kevin Abrams-Verwain. Even though he went to JUCO first, his first Division I play was here at Appalachian. So just kudos to those guys for sticking around in an era of nil in the transfer portal. They stayed here and fought through it, and they'll finish they started and will finish their careers as Mountaineers.
Hey, Dalton Stroman, a redshirt senior. That's elder statesman knowledge to know how to pick one off the turf just like that. So first down and 10 for the Mountaineers, just across the midfield line into Red Wolf territory. Trig Lewis on the carry, and he is carried almost to the 44-yard line. A pile of tacklers in the mix, including Kyle Taylor, the MAC backer for Griff McCarley's Arkansas State defense.
You hope that Trig Lewis can maintain the positive momentum he has running the football, as well as DeBinion. The last time Appalachian played Arkansas State and won, they had 2 100-yard rushers.
There goes Trig Lewis trying to get the century mark again for a consecutive week. He's well on his way inside the 30-yard line. Trenton Allen Yao, the former Mountaineer defensive back, makes his first tackle on an old teammate, and the Mountaineers with first down inside the 30-yard line. That ends the first quarter of play. We are evened up here, 3 apiece. Arkansas State, App State. Mountaineers knocking on the door of the red zone when we come back to Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone. North Carolina's Band of Distinction back for the Thanksgiving holiday and adding some atmosphere into what has been a tightly contested game through one quarter. David Jackson, Avery Hall with you. Glad you have joined us for a little tryptophan college football extravaganza here today. If you're drifting in and out of sleep, you haven't missed much from a scoring perspective yet. 3-3, we've got 2 field goals, a 43-yarder by Dominic DeFreitas, a 24-yarder by Clune Van Andel. Those are the points. These two defenses have done a pretty good job of stymieing the other. App State with a goal line stand that limited Arkansas State to that field goal, and the Red Wolves have done a good job sniffing out App State drives. Mountaineers in the middle of one right now as a pass goes to Kanan Hamlet as J.J. Cole was rocked as he threw that football. Hamlet was able to get back to the 20-yard line and give App State a 3rd and 3 coming up. Joe Drew on the stop.
J.J. Cole was lucky to get that one off. Again, good pressure by Arkansas State. He gets rocked there, but again, good job of dumping it underneath. And you know, it's good to see the tight end involved because you're going to have to get the tight end involved to kind of slow down these linebackers and the safeties in this Arkansas State defense. Very athletic defense.
Play action twist, and Mbake in the end zone. He was contacted, no flag. And Mbake was going for that back pylon. Joe Drew was stride for stride with him. And I think this ball was thrown in front of Mbake to the point where maybe it was considered that it was uncatchable.
Yeah, it was uncatchable, but however, the DB never turned around to go back to get the football. So that's why you kind of think that they got away. I got a haul pass on the pass interference there.
38-yard attempt for DeFreitas. 5 of 5 from that yardage range this year. Good snap, hold down, kick with a little bit of wind behind it. Is straight through. It's the Dominic DeFreitas show here for App State. Good from 43 earlier. Give him a 38-yard make as he has made each of his last 10 field goals now. Was that pass interference or not? Depends on who you like. 6-3 App State in front. Fans, you can get all of ESPN College Football all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or simply log in with your TV provider. At this time of year, I guarantee that app does not sit silent on your phone or watching device of choice. Drive summary for App State. 10 plays, 59 yards, 3:45 off the clock. Dominic DeFreitas' second field goal of the day. This one from 38. gives App State a 6-3 lead. Avery Hall, this is feet ball rather than football today. It's all kickers, but these defenses have been stout and turning teams out inside the red zone.
Defense have been stout, but let's go back to special teams. They just picked up where they left off last week. The Jeff Crosby's special teams were special. You had a blocked field goal, you had a punt, a 70-yard punt that was down at the 1. You had a field goal to win the game and 2 minutes to go in the game. Today here, 2 field goals. So Jeff Crosby's special teams units have been just that, special.
Jalen Rayner, 4 of 5 in the passing game, 41 yards through a quarter. Devin Spencer on the carry, slices through the front line of the App State defense up across the 30 to the 33. Spencer, the sophomore out of Riverview, Florida, tackled by Dylan Manuel. He has had now a pair of carries on the day and sets up Arkansas State with 2nd and short.
Spencer's, like I said, smaller of the 2 backs. Again, he's going to kind of make these guys work really hard to tackle in space. There he goes again to the outside.
Spencer on the toss, Jalen Willis on the stop. Right about the 33, no gain on the play. Willis, the senior out of Fort Myers, had a hot start to the year, starting to come on strong late here as well as he gets to Devin Spencer.
Appalachian have been allowing teams to convert at a 43% clip on 3rd down, and it's good here today. They've kind of done a better job. So this is a big 3rd down and 3 stop to maybe kind of get better field position as they try and put more points on the board.
Arkansas State 0 for 2 on the day. Rayner with plenty of time. Now will take off and run for himself. Up across the 35, has the 1st down and tiptoes into the Mountaineer bench with a movement of the chains off the feet of the junior from Winston-Salem.
Again, Jalen, I've watched him do that in high school. Again, very, very successful career in high school at East Forsyth High School. Watched him do it the last 3 years at Arkansas State. Look, he's looking downfield, does not see anything. The reason why he has a high completion percentage is he's not going to make an errant throw and throw into double coverage. So good decision by him to run on that previous play.
As does Devin Spencer, dropped. It's his 2nd off his hands today. Going back to Rayner, he's 3rd in the league in passing yardage coming into play this afternoon, just under 250. 3rd in total offense. He's 23rd in the entire FBS nation, averaging about 284 yards per game between his aerial prowess and moves like that 1st down stretch, being able to break off and turn into a running back.
He can manufacture yards with his feet, but he has a high football IQ, just a smart kid in general, so he's not going to make too many mistakes. If someone's not open, when he's going through his read progression, whether it's short to deep, deep to short, he's not going to throw into double coverage. He's going to tuck it and create and manufacture yards.
Kenyon Clay, a big 7-yard connection on 2nd and 10, brings up 3rd down and a long 3. Arkansas State trying to convert on back-to-back 3rd downs, can't do it this time. Rucker had that ball knocked out by Emory Floyd. Corey Rucker is the guy you want to go to in that moment. And Emory Floyd was able to jar that ball loose.
I tell you, that's a good matchup. Emory Floyd, 6'1", 195, and then Corey Rucker, who's 6'2", 213. Emory Floyd has been very, very consistent this year. Again, played at South Carolina before coming here to Appalachian. That's just a good matchup, and on that particular matchup, Emory Floyd won.
Jackson Waller to punt the football away. There's a jump up front. If that's against App State, that may be enough to move the chains here on 4th and 4.
Offside, defense number 21, unabated to the punter.
And that's exactly what will happen. So App State on a 4th and 4 punt try from Jackson Waller. Let's watch it again. There is definite movement.
Wow, wow.
So that will keep the drive alive for Arkansas State, bring Jalen Rayner and crew out. The 5-yard penalty moves the ball to midfield. That's 2 offside penalties against App State. 1 on their special teams unit, 1 on defense inside the red zone earlier this afternoon. 1st and 10, Arkansas State, a hair onto their own side of the 50-yard line. Neither team has found it in the end zone yet. Rayner drops back 3 steps. He's got a man wide open. That's Rucker. Comes back to the football, makes a sliding catch. No, they'll say he dropped it at the 15-yard line.
Gosh, Rayner would love to have that ball back. If this is a drop, take it here. He has ample amount of time. He was able to step up in the pocket. I mean, if he could throw that one again, he'd put a little more oomph into it so it could get there. And if Rucker catches that ball on the run, he scores a touchdown.
Yeah, Rucker lost control of it as it hit the ground.
Yeah,
tried to say that he maintained the juggle and was able to keep it. But the officiating crew, Tim Barker, saying, hey, you didn't have possession when you went to the ground, 2nd down and 10. Here's Rayner on the carry. He'll get into the second level, crosses midfield, and a pile of tacklers will hold him up at the 48-yard line. Brayshawn Littlejohn in on the stop for App State.
Yeah, that was a design quarterback run. But going back to that previous play, man, I bet Rayner would just love to have that one back to put a little more air under it. And I don't know if the wind caught it or anything, but again, he'd love to have that one back.
A little bit of a swirling wind here today at Kid Brewer Stadium. Noticed on the earlier kick from Dominic DeFreitas, it looked like the little engine that could getting across the crossbar on what is a normal chip shot kind of effort for him. I'm sure it's impacting the passing game as well. Rayner on 3rd down and long. Pass underneath. Caught at the 45-yard line. Tripped up at the 42 is Kenyon Clay. Zaire Gamble with the 1st down saving tackle. And now Butch Jones with the decision to make on 4th and 2.
I think he's going to go for this. But take a look here. You know, you would think that Appalachian would have better coverage. They only rushed 3 down linemen. But again, you still have a receiver out in the flats, wide open, and does a good job of, you know, getting closer to the line of the 1st down marker.
Arkansas State 64%, one of the best tallies in the country on 4th down. This is their 25th opportunity. High snap. Rayner's got to fall on it. Now the ball is loose. Mountaineers have a chance to scoop it, and the Mountaineers have the football inside the 40. What a turn of events on 4th down. The Mountaineers are able to scoop it up. Brayshawn Littlejohn coming across with the fumble recovery.
Again, that was a decent snap. Just Rayner could not hang on to it. Good effort by Mountaineers defense, particularly Brayshawn Littlejohn doing a good job just hustling, getting there and getting on the ball. You know, as a defensive lineman or outside linebacker, you just wish you could scoop that one up and continue to run.
Devin Spencer has had quite the day trying to possess the football, tried to get a hand on that errant snap, and ended up sending that further down the field where Brayshawn Littlejohn, maybe his eyes not as big as his stomach in that case, just said, hey, I'll take the simple thing and just gain possession. So the Mountaineers now -1 in the takeaway game for the year, which is amazing to think about. More on that in a moment. Here's Rashad DeBinion on 1st down. Picks up maybe a yard on positive progress. Go back to App State. There was a point in time, Avery Hall, where they were teetering on double digits of negative in terms of turnover margin. They have charged back over the last few weeks, and now after that fumble recovery, sit -1 on the year.
Well, I tell you, the season, you talk about a tale of 2 seasons. In the first 3 or 4 ball games, Appalachian had about 12 turnovers in the first, 3 or 4 ball games.
Here's Cole going up top, looking for the front side. Does he get that there? Touchdown, black and gold. Dalton Stroman using the turf once again, and this time it's for 6.
Outstanding protection by the big guys up front. Take a look at the protection up front. That just gives him enough time for Stroman to get down the field. He puts it up there only where it's really backside. Good focus and concentration by Stroman. Outstanding throw, outstanding catch.
Avante Dickerson blanketing him in coverage, and Dalton Stroman found a way to fight through it for the touchdown grab.
That's a great job of coming back to the football on that by Stroman. Just good focus, good concentration on his part. 16th
touchdown catch of the redshirt senior's career, his 4th this year.
But you're talking about turnovers. And you remember in the Lindenwood, Southern Mississippi boys, they were like 12 to 13 turnovers. Appalachian has, if I'm not mistaken, 17 turnovers on the year. Again, they kind of, cleaned that up, cleaned up the penalties. And but you're right, definitely been more successful when they won the turnover battle.
Replay check the catch. They check all scoring plays. They found nothing wrong with Stroman's athleticism this time. PAT by DeFreitas, first touchdown of the day scored by either team, and the PAT gives App State a 10-point advantage. Here at Kid Brewer Stadium, winner goes to postseason. It's going to take Herculean efforts like this one from Dalton Stroman. The catch, the roll, the points for App State. They lead it by 10 over Arkansas State here at Kid Brewer Stadium on a chilly day in Boone. Turnovers lead to points. It took App State just 2 plays after that fumble recovery on a bad 4th down snap from Arkansas State. And then 37 yards later, a strike to Dalton Stroman for the first touchdown of the day. That's 8 takeaways now for App State in the last 4 games as we talk about that through line of better ball security and a little bit more advantageous play from a defensive standpoint at hawking the ball. DJ Smith, the defensive coordinator, has said he needed to see the turnover story flip, and boy, it sure has over this last month.
It really has. I mean, you talk about the 15 turnovers, 11 interceptions, 4 fumbles, 25 sacks. I mean, that's an improvement over last year. So, again, and a lot of people, what they don't miss or don't see are the 45 quarterback hurries. So pretty opportunistic, aggressive defense being played by Appalachian State over the last few football games.
Jalen Rayner and crew searching points here, down 10. Arkansas State has been in just about every game they have played all year long since that Arkansas battle. They are used to the back and forth. Flag on the play as this one gets rolling, and the catch made and then some, all the way up across the 43-yard line. Give credit
Cameron Ambrose
to Tyler Fortenberry, the backup tight end. Tyler Little out of the game. He was a late scratch this week, and Fortenberry's first catch, his 14th over the last 4 ball games, up to the 42-yard line, 1st and 10.
Tyler's a big man. He's 6'5", 240, and he looked every bit of it as he was carrying Mountaineers for a free ride there.
Fortenberry, the blocking tight end now, trying to clear a hole for the running back, Clay. That ball is loose. Mountaineers have got it again. Right at midfield, App State comes with the turnover. That looks like Kyle Arnholt down to the bottom of the pile. Another redshirt senior on senior day trying to leave a legacy on the turf here at the Rock.
I tell you what, physicality leads sometimes to the ball being turned over. Appalachians land the wood on guys, and take a look here. Again, power football here. Arkansas State's running inside. Boom, you got DJ Burks comes up. Again, knocks that ball loose. Arnholt's in the right place at the right time. Good football.
Kyle Arnholt, his 2nd fumble recovery this year, 3rd of his Mountaineer career. And again, it's just interesting. Football can be a funny game sometimes, and when you're looking for a storyline, you're looking for something to push you over the hump. In a game like this that's got postseason implications, even in today's landscape of players moving every year, a former App State player on Arkansas State's roster, it's the seniors. It's the ones that have been there. They come through with the clutch plays. We've seen 2 of them thus far today. Here's Mbake, young guy, getting into the action now to the 40-yard line, picks up nearly 10 on 1st down. Trenton Allen Yao, the aforementioned former Mountaineer, on the tackle.
I take good arm strength by J.J. Cole. Again, he tosses that ball out there in a hurry. Good catch by Mbake. Good turn it up and getting as much as you can.
9-yard gain officially. Here's Cole on the run. He's saying, hey, if Jalen Rayner can do it, so can I. Twists his way, and now that ball pops loose. And Arkansas State's got it, although they are saying the ball was down by contact with the ground. And J.J. Cole may have dodged a huge bullet there.
Take a look here. J.J. Cole, again, he good play action there. He sees nothing opens. He just turns it up and he just runs. Tries to spin and be a little more agile than he really is at 6'7", 245. So, again, he got lucky that knee touched the ground.
DeBinion turned off at the 29-yard line, takes a spin back upfield, actually. They'll give him positive progress to the 29, so about a 4-yard pickup for DeBinion. We mentioned last week he was playing with a bit of a wrist injury. He's had 4 tough carries today for 17 yards. And I say tough because anytime that he gets contacted on that arm, that's a stinger. DJ, on a day like this, I'm sure that does not feel good.
And I was going to say this earlier, but I don't want people to think I'm crazy. But this time of the year, you're going to see some more fumbles because elbows hurt, wrists hurt, hands hurt. And you know, the more you get hit in those areas that are already banged up, sometimes you don't want to put that ball on the turf, but defensive players, we know that if we put our face mask in there on that wrist, we know if we put our face mask on that elbow or in the right spot, you know you got sore ribs, you're going to cough that football up sometimes. So towards this time of the year, you may see a few more fumbles.
Trig Lewis back on for App State. DeMarcus Hendricks on that last tackle for Arkansas State. On third down, Cole hit as he throws, and Mbake with the catch. He is shy of the first down marker. Gets to the 25-yard line. Hendricks ripped him down into the Mountaineer sideline along with A.G. McGee, and now App State will attempt their third field goal of the day.
A.G. McGee is that star position. You know, they have the 4-down linemen, the 2 prototypical linebackers, and then they have the 2 corners and the 2 safety. A.J. McGee is the star, that extra DB that they bring in. He's 5'10", 187 pounds, made a good, solid open field tackle there.
Another 43-yard attempt for DeFreitas. He's hit from 43 and 38 today. Good snap, and the kick is blocked, and that's got a chance to be taken back. Arkansas State going to try to pop on top of it, and they finally do, recovering the football at the 44-yard line. That one was blocked by Jordan Sample. We'll check it again as we go to break. DeFreitas sees his streak snapped. Jordan Sample trying to get some momentum for Arkansas State when we come back. Block on Dominic DeFreitas. First time App State's had a field goal block this year. And Avery Hall, it's a game of inches here. If you hurdle a player, that's a penalty. If you jump the gap between the player, you can get away with that. And that's exactly what Sample did.
You can get away with it. Also, too, you cannot get back like 2 or 3 yards back and then run and hurdle. You have to be within 1 yard of the snapper to hurdle. And that's just showing athleticism on Sample's part.
Jalen Rayner taken down from behind. Caleb Sandstrom and Kevin Abrams-Verwain drop the quarterback as Rayner tries to jumpstart this seemingly stuck Arkansas State offense. But this feels like with a sudden change, this is the time for the Red Wolves to get back in it. Trailing 13-3. Here's Rayner with time in the pocket underneath Corey Rucker, back to midfield, picks up 7 yards on the catch. Colton Ferris in on the tackle for App State. That'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Arkansas State on the day, 1 of 5 on 3rd down. Had a rough week last week as well. Second lowest performance of the year offensively on 3rd downs for the Red Wolves. 3 wide up top, 4 total in the package. Here's Rayner, gonna keep it himself, and that's not gonna go anywhere. No, he'll finally throw it loose. with pressure coming from Ferris, and see that ball fall incomplete on the App State sideline.
Man, that was a great play by Ferris. Again, good pressure by the interior defensive lineman. But Rayner bounces it outside. Ferris has to take on that athletic Jalen Rayner, who's very athletic and does a good job of breaking down and making a good play, forcing an errant throw there. Just outstanding job by Colt Ferris. Ferris has been consistent all year long for this Mountaineer defense.
Rucker was the intended target. Punting opportunity here for Jackson Waller from the 35 of his own territory. Sidewinding kick. Jackson Greer takes the catch at the 10, and now a flag comes in for kick-catch interference. Greer pointed it out. He wanted the flag, and he got it. So App State will see yardage tacked on after the fact.
I tell you, that was good concentration by Greer because he did have a Red Wolf player all over him and still was able to make that catch. You take a look here again. That's just outstanding concentration because that guy's right there on him, and then there's another guy coming. That's just good concentration.
And it's something that Arkansas State knows too well. Last week, one of the turning points in the game with Louisiana, with Arkansas State just dealing the Raging Cajuns all they wanted in the first quarter. The game really got turned on Aaron Blanca's bobbling of a punt. Went right off his hands, right off his chest. Louisiana turned a short field score into points, and the Raging Cajuns got some life at a point where it looked like Arkansas State was going to leave them behind. So those types of things, those nuanced things inside a football game matter a whole lot. Here's Trig Lewis taking a pile with him up across the 30-yard line. They'll give him progress to the 31. Lewis today, 9 carries. He just surpassed 60 yards as he's averaging right around 6.5 yards each time he carries the rock. Aaron Alexander on the tackle.
I mean, as a young guy, as a freshman, he has just good vision. And he's, over the last 2 weeks, David Jackson, he's shown a lot of patience, allowing his blocks to develop and then hitting the seam.
Here's Lewis off the left side, and he's taken down in the backfield. Alexander kept him from getting the corner and then rips him down for a loss of 1.
Aaron Alexander, he's 6'1", 234 linebacker. He does a good job running from sideline to sideline. Lewis is a quick, back, and he does a good job of running him down, making a good, sure tackle there.
Alexander with 3 games of 10 tackles or more, he's on pace to get that tally again. 3rd down and long for App State. Mountaineers 2 of 5 on 3rd down. 5 wide for Cole. With pressure as he throws, and that ball is incomplete. He got rocked by Alexander as he threw the football. Mbake was the intended target. Check that, that was Kyle Taylor that hit Cole. Alexander in the coverage, and App State will punt it away.
Arkansas State put a little pressure by bringing Kyle Turner. Take a look here, he comes from the outside, and JJ doesn't have much time to throw it, so he has to really get rid of it prior to really wanting to, and just doesn't work out for that Appalachian State passing game there.
Ratliff gets it away, caught inside the 30-yard line. And Arkansas State with the football, 4 minutes, a little underneath that to go in a 10-point ball game. Avery Hall for the Red Wolves to get some momentum heading into the locker room. They'll have the football first when we come back to action in the second half. What does Butch Jones need to dial up here?
I tell you, Butch Jones needs to stretch this Appalachian defense. If you've noticed, they've not had a ton of success running the football with Spencer, as well as, Kenyon Clay. Even Corey Rucker, when he's caught the football, he's caught it underneath. He's averaging 13 yards per catch, but here lately he's been catching that 5 and 6 yard type catch. And they've got to open up their offense a little bit if they want to have success here against this Appalachian defense. They really want to throw the football, and they'll run it when they need to, but they won't really want to kind of open up the pass game.
Tempo look here for Arkansas State as Hunter Summers gets the catch. Ethan Johnson on the sideline tackle. 7-yard pickup on 1st down. Clock rolling inside 3.5 minutes now. Little slot pass caught near a 1st down gain. That's Chauncey Cobb. Elijah McCantos on the tackle for App State. That's a yard shy of the 1st down. 3rd and 1.
And this Appalachian defense has been strategic. I mean, they're showing cover 2, at times cover 3, going, quarters at times. They're not giving them anything deep, so they're having to go underneath here.
Rayner takes a step to his left, comes back right, and has the 1st down gain up to the 40. That ball may have come dislodged, but they'll say it's down by contact. Move the chains for Arkansas State. Kevin Abrams-Verwain in on the stop for the Mountaineers. Play clock rolling inside 3 minutes.
And, you know, when you've got a quarterback like Jalen Rayner who's smart, he's not going to take an inordinate amount of risk. He's going to try and make sure he makes safe throws. So, again, he's not going to take too many chances against this Appalachian defense.
Rayner's pass complete to Corey Rucker. Rucker, kind of the gym rat of this offense. Butch Jones said he's in his office every single day. Special relationship with a guy that left Arkansas State for a season, came back, and will go out as one of the best pass catchers to ever do it in Jonesboro. Here's a pass out in the flat, out to the tight end Fortenberry, knocked hard by Elijah McCantos. That'll bring up 3rd down and long, 3rd down and about 7. And now we have a stoppage of play and an injured Mountaineer on the field. That is Sandstrom, who is laid out at the 41-yard line.
That was a good job. Hopefully Sandstrom's okay. Good job by McCantos coming up, making not only a great open field tackle, but a physical open field tackle. Again, right now Rayner has too much time, so they've got to look. He has too much time back there in the pocket, but good throw, but nice job of not only just coming up and making a sure tackle, but being physical. That tight end is going to think about that play the next time it's dialed up. He's going to think about McCantos coming up and being a slobber knocker there. One
of the things that Butch Jones said in our conversation with him this week is that offensive line play was going to dictate the game in his mind. He must have balance offensively. And when you look at the total package, 88 yards passing, only 34 yards rushing. So I would say the adjustment to make for Arkansas State in the second half is going to be open up that run game, as you were alluding to earlier. That's one area that just has not had any kind of success today.
And they're playing against a solid defensive front in Rondo Porter, Dylan Manuel, you know, Kevin Abrams-Verwam, and Aiden Bitten. These guys are playing hard. They're playing fast. They're playing strong up front. And again, you look at this offensive line from their center, who's a redshirt sophomore, to their left guard, who's a redshirt freshman. They're young up front, and really, you know, you got, you know, like Will Saxton, who's a redshirt junior. You got Alaric Wilson, who's a junior. They've got a lot of youth up front.
2-minute break. Arkansas State going to try to put points on the board when we come back, down 10. will bring some light to this Saskatchewan Rough Riders reunion that we've got up here in the booth with a former Rough Rider, Avery Hall, and a current Rough Rider, former App State kicker, Michael Hughes. Before then, 3rd down and 7. Jalen Rayner airs one out. Chauncey Cobb catches in stride inside the 20-yard line. That's the chunk play that Arkansas State has been hunting all first half. 1st down inside the red zone for the Red Wolves.
Chauncey Cobb, if you take a look here, I mean, he's 5'6", 163, and just does a great job of getting in between the safeties, finding the seam. Nice throw by Jalen Rayner. Good throw catch.
Devin Spencer on the carry inside the 10-yard line. Picks up about 6 yards on 1st down to the 8. Brayshawn Littlejohn on the tackle, and now a stoppage and a timeout taken by App State. And this, Avery Hall, is that territory that Arkansas State's had some problems with. We documented that in the first half when they had to settle for a field goal. The red zone has not been kind to them with cashing in touchdowns. They need the points here.
Yeah, they're 30 of 37 in the red zone, only 25 touchdowns, and that's 68%. You obviously want that to be a little higher, but just really, if you take a look here, just a nice job of getting down to the red zone. Again, he takes a nice little throw there, nice catch, and you know, really, the Chauncey Cobb really did a good job of getting in between the 2 safeties and finding a pocket there to catch that football. And he's easy to lose. I mean, he's only 5'6", 163. He's quick, and he's a smaller guy. He can weave through there and find a spot in that zone coverage.
An embarrassment of riches for Jalen Rayner to have experience at those receiver positions. Here he is on 1st down, and he's got a touchdown. First score of the day for Arkansas State goes to Corey Rucker, and the redshirt senior brings the Red Wolves closer right before halftime.
That was a nice pitch and catch by Rayner, and good job by Corey Rucker getting right to the spot. Take a look here again. You can't see him run his route, but he gets right there behind the safety, knows exactly where to be. Good throw, good accurate throw by Rayner. And you know what's hard to believe is Corey Rucker is you know, effective and successful as he's been. That's only his 2nd touchdown of the season. That blows my mind.
26th of his career, but he had 1 touchdown catch prior to that here in week 12. PAT splits the, no, it's wide to the right. PAT misses in a game where every point matters. We'll see how that plays out as we play on here in the latter stretches of the 2nd quarter. 13-9 the score. Check it again. That kick got pushed right and just did graze the crossbar on its way into the expensive seats, we'll call it. 8 plays, 71 yards, 2:25 off the clock. Avery Hall, Arkansas State can't get the total package. They either get in the red zone, settle for a field goal, score a touchdown, miss the PAT. There is plenty for Butch Jones and staff to chew on and chew with at halftime, trying to get some synergy offensively and some momentum going into this 2nd half.
You know, as we talked to him this week, it's just been that type of year for this offensive team. They've got so many weapons, so much talent, but they've had, you know, just glitches here and there, whether it's drop passes, whether it's not, you know, competing in the red zone, whether it's, you know, dead ball penalties, things of that nature. But they've got a lot of talent, and again, you know, if they could just put it together, as you talked about earlier in the broadcast, some of the close losses that they've had, if they could just put it together offensively in the red zone, as well as not turning the ball over at times, they could be highly successful.
Clayton Amaya, a pooch kick. And that's bobbled by App State. Arkansas State is got it, I believe, inside the 15-yard line. That's Red Wolves football. As App State failed to come up and catch the short kickoff, the ball was bobbled, and the Red Wolves have it inside the red zone with 1:29 to go until halftime.
Think about this. You're down 13-3 with almost 3 minutes left, and then take a look here. He just, you know, overzealous, tries to go up and field that ball. They've got a chance to go up now and going into halftime, but yet they were down by 10 just 2 minutes ago. Really a matter of 3 or 4 plays. They have an opportunity to go up here in this football game.
Josh Stone is down on the field. He is an injured Red Wolf. Trey Nicholson was the man that came up and tried to field that short kickoff. All of this happening, of course, before we interview a former kicker at halftime. We've got plenty to talk about.
He's going to tell you it's the kicker magic, you know. It's the way,
right.
It's the spin he put on the ball that made him drop it. No, but really, think about it. That's where Jaden Barnes would have been if he were not injured. And you got a new kid, you know, again, everybody's capable, but a new kid in there with the kickoff return. He puts the ball on the turf. Just tough break at a critical time for this Appalachian football team at this juncture in the game.
So the Mountaineers' first turnover is a costly one, putting Arkansas State inside the red zone on the doorstep of pay dirt in a 13-9 ball game. Here's Rayner going pylon on the first play, and that ball in and out of the hands of Hunter Summers. His second target of the day falls incomplete. Good coverage from Elijah McCantos defensively.
I tell you what, that was a heck of a coverage by McCantos. Take a look here. Ball thrown. Hopes the receiver comes back, but just a great job.
That's Emory Floyd.
I think that's
actually
Emory Floyd
in the coverage.
Good job by Emory Floyd. One, getting his head around, seeing the ball coming, and knocking the ball down.
Devin Spencer, the setback off the left-hand hip of Jalen Rayner, who has plenty of time. Pass underneath, and that's through the hands. Incomplete. Intended for Devin Spencer coming out of the backfield. That'll bring up third down.
DJ, you talked about their red zone woes. Hopefully they'll continue to have those red zone woes here with a minute and 20 seconds left. If they convert with just a field goal, that's a win for this Appalachian defense, and more momentum for Appalachian as they go into halftime.
4 wide, 2 to each side. Spencer, the blocking back right. Rayner with the shotgun snap. Quick firing pass is caught. Touchdown, Red Wolves.
Nice pitch and catch. Tyler
Fortenberry's second touchdown of the year puts Arkansas State in front.
Rayner gets rid of that ball quickly. He knows exactly where he's going. Fortenberry does a good job of getting in between or actually I think that's getting in between the linebacker and the safety there. And nice catch. Nice grab there.
Fortenberry's had 13 catches over the last 3 weeks entering play today. 2 for 80 yards last week against Louisiana. He's got a touchdown in this one. It gives Arkansas State the lead. The PAT this time splits the uprights, and with 1:16 to play, an App State team that dominated pretty much all of the first half until these last 3 minutes, Avery Hall, have seen this script get completely reversed.
It's been the last 3 minutes, but really in a matter of 4 or 5 plays, it's gone from 13-3 to 16-13. The Red Wolves, again, you drop the kickoff return. Again, you allow, the tight end, and prior to that, you allow the Corey Rucker to get behind the safeties. Again, tough 4 or 5 plays for the Mountaineers in this last few minutes of the second half. I mean, first half here.
You know, Butch Jones said to us this week that he's been trying to get his players to trust the process throughout the year, especially with all the crazy games, the 1-point games, the last possession defeats. All of that, just trust what you're doing. Trust your preparation, trust your execution, and good things will happen if you stay the course. Stay with the process. And that is exactly how the Red Wolves have gotten not only even in this game, but now have taken the 16-13 lead. So App State has got 2 timeouts and 1:16 to go, trailing by 3, another short kickoff. It's Nicholson again, secures it this time, and then we'll get bear tackled at the 22-yard line. Boy, the Red Wolves seeing a matchup they like. Joe Drew on the tackle for Arkansas State. So now let's see how conservative or aggressive Dowell Loggins, the App State offensive coordinator / head coach, decides to be here.
Coaches are, they remember what happened just a few minutes ago, the fumble in this same area of the field, except it was on special teams. I don't think he's going to do anything aggressive here. I think he's going to run, a couple simple plays or maybe some short horizontal passes, but I don't think he'll try anything too aggressive.
J.J. Cole has that ball batted back to him, and he spikes it down at the 10-yard line wisely. That was nearly a self pass that was batted at the line of scrimmage by Cody Ziegler. that nearly turned into points the other way. If Sigler could keep that ball alive, that's an easy pick six.
Smart play by Cole just to knock that down, because obviously he can't catch that ball, but nice job just knocking down. Heads up play by him to give Appalachian another chance here. 93
passing yards today for Cole. Play action look for Lewis. Cole slings it over to the sideline, and Mbake trying to break down his man and simply slides down. Avante Dickerson
First charge timeout. Arkansas
is
State,
there
30
on
seconds.
in coverage.
Arkansas State called a timeout. They want to get this football back, and if they can get a stop here, they may get this ball back and see what they can do. But I thought that Appalachian would try to potentially run the football more, to run this clock down and get out of here, go back in the locker room and kind of regroup. But it looks like Arkansas State says, look, we're going to call a timeout just in case we can get the ball back in decent field position.
I think as a coach, especially one that's been through what he's been through with his team, when Butch Jones feels like his team's got momentum, he's going to press the gas to try to keep that momentum and squeeze every little last bit of energy out of it. 58 seconds left. Arkansas State with 2 timeouts, App State with 2. Mountaineers lost 2 yards on that catch by Mbake and now face 3rd down and 12. J.J. Cole will move Trig Lewis to his right. Takes a 4-step drop, and the underneath pass intended for Stroman falls incomplete, and that brings up 4th down. So not only has App State seen this script flip, but when they needed to, like you said, Avery Hall, run some clock, they failed to be able to do so.
And when you pass the ball and it's incomplete, it stops the clock.
17 seconds, 3 plays in 17 seconds.
And think about this. I mean, Arkansas State put a lot of pressure on Coles, so he had to get rid of it quicker. He threw it behind Stroman. Now they're going to get a chance to get the ball back and maybe get in field goal range.
Benelli waiting for this ball to take the
That's a great
saw blade roll out to the 25-yard line. Boy, Ian Ratliff has perfected the sideline jaunt, if you will, with his punts. He had a 70-yarder that was like a golf shot going down the middle of the fairway last week. This time hugging the short grass, sending Arkansas State inside their own 25. That's a 55-yard punt for Ratliff, the reigning Sun Belt Special Teams Player of the Week.
He's had 2 outstanding punts over the last 2 ball games. That 70-yard punt that was down at the 1, that was just a beautiful punt at an opportune time for this Appalachian football team.
Keith Heckendorf, veteran offensive coach, with 44 seconds and 2 timeouts. He goes to Corey Rucker on the sideline. Catch made just shy of the 30. Actually, they'll give him the 30-yard line. That's a 5-yard pickup on 1st down for Rucker, who has now 5 catches in the game for 32 yards and a touchdown. 41 seconds, clock stopped. Arkansas State on some kind of run here. They've scored the last 13 unanswered. Here's Rayner stepping up in the pocket, and he throws a short-armed pass to Devin Spencer that falls at his feet incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Actually, that's not a bad play, because it stops the clock. It gives him another opportunity to try and stretch the field and go down and get into field goal territory. So that really, he stepped up in the pocket due to a little pressure and probably had the receiver out in the flats, caught the ball, he'd have been tackled, and the clock would still be running. So that was actually a good situation for Arkansas State.
Rayner on 3rd down. That ball batted at the line of scrimmage and falls incomplete. So in case you're keeping score with us at home, the last 6 plays have taken about 30 seconds of clock time exactly. And neither team really showcasing too much of what we would call offensive prowess in the process. So with 33 seconds left until halftime, Arkansas State will punt it away out of their own deep territory. Jackson Greer ready to receive. App State loading up like they're coming after this one. Jackson Waller standing ready, play clock at 10. Waller gets away, a driving punt, and Greer will watch it sail out of bounds. Let's see, the markup won't be tremendous. To the 24, almost 25-yard line. So App State will have it there with 2 timeouts and 26 seconds. We can get 3 or 4 more possessions out of this thing, Avery Hall, at this pace.
I believe it. I mean, we've got a few timeouts, so I believe we got 2. They may call, go deep and then call a timeout and see if they can get 2 or 3 more plays in to get us in field goal range.
Isn't it funny how sometimes momentum comes to a grinding halt? When you see, like, oh, man, here's a chance, and yep, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Well, the last 60 seconds has felt like 6 minutes because I'm watching you with your warm gloves on, your coat on, and I'm sitting here about to freeze.
My hands are sweaty. Here's a pass to Mbake, caught across the 40-yard line up to the 42. That's a first down grab. App State will use one of those timeouts, I believe, or will they let the clock? The clock stops to set the chains. They'll set the chains with 18 left, save the timeout, and roll it now. Play clock inside 15 seconds. Here's Cole. Looking, stepping up in the pocket now. He'll take off and run. Has the first down and more. Cole outside the 30. Steps out of bounds at the 25-yard line with 4 seconds left. First down Mountaineers, and a chance here potentially at a game-tying field goal.
Smart move. Anybody who's been around football a long time, they know that they're going to try and get the receivers to the sideline so they can go out of bounds. So most defenses will try and squeeze you to the sidelines. Cole saw that the middle of the field was wide open. Not only did he run, but when he got close to a defender, he could have slid, but he didn't. He kept going to the outside to get closer or manufacture more yards to get closer to field goal range. That was a smart, heady play by Cole.
Dominic DeFreitas, season-long field goal, a 49-yarder against Oregon State. He's warming up the leg. He's hit 2 today, had 1 blocked. His makes from 43 and 38. The block was from 43. It's the first time App State's had a kick block this year. They have blocked 2 on the other side.
Man, that was a heads-up play by Cole. I hate to be redundant, but like I said, most defensive units are going to try and push their defensive coverage towards the sidelines because they know most offensive teams, like I said, want to go towards the sidelines so they can stop the clock. He saw that.
It was a 32-yard run for him, his longest of the year. So a 45-yard attempt to tie it up, just like you thought it was going to be with a minute left, and now Arkansas State will take a timeout. This has been the wildest, 45 seconds of a game, where you see...
He missed it. He kicked it and missed it, so good thing they called a timeout.
Well, that's why Butch Jones called the timeout. He is not exactly thrilled over on the Arkansas State sideline.
I wouldn't mind asking a kicker who's standing next to me, what's the psyche of a kicker after something like that happens? Yeah, that's great.
So what?
Hank, I'm gonna put the headset on a kicker who's sitting here. What did you just say about that?
The timeouts really don't affect you very much. I think the biggest thing is just trusting that you're about to hit the rep and don't really think too much about it, but we'll see if he backs.
So last year it was Jason Kelsey joining us in the booth. This year it's Michael Hughes. You're in elite company, my friend. From 45, this time to make it count. Good snap. Hold is down. Kick is on the way. It's got the leg. Gone! We are tied! Just like they drew it up.
And just like Michael Hughes said, he trusted his leg.
45-yard field goal off the foot of Dominic DeFreitas. The freshman sends us even into the locker room at 16. A whale of a first half. There's been everything. Fumbles, scoops, scores. All the highlights coming your way here at halftime as App State and Arkansas State find themselves even at 16 apiece. Bowl eligibility on the line when these 2 teams come back out to the field. We'll tell you more about it as we hit halftime here at The Rock. Taking you right in the midst of the halftime festivities here at the Rock, 16 apiece. We are tied here, Arkansas State and App State, in the regular season finale. Glad you have joined us, and we have the expert to break down this last 90 seconds with us. Michael Hughes, former App State kicker, currently with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but right now you are expert color analyst. What do you make of the last 90 seconds from a kicking game perspective?
Well, Arkansas State, they did a really good job right there, exploiting an area where you have to make a decision between two players from App. And there's a miscommunication. They come up with a fumble. And then, you know, their kicker, he bounces back and connects on the next extra point. That's what you want to see. But you have to let the last one go. But, yeah, it's pretty good. And then Dom right there at the end hit the upright on the timeout. But then he trusted it and came back and banged it through.
Well, you have been able to take your career path, one where you were so steady from a mental perspective that led to great physical attributes that has led you to a professional career. I want to talk about your time at App State first. How did you maintain such a steadiness about yourself? Who were some of the folks that helped you perform the way you did here in the black and gold?
Oh, there's so many people that I could sit here and think. But you just have to treat yourself like a professional. And, you know, when I came in as a freshman, that's what Coach Clark, he's harped upon was, you know, you have to take this day by day, week by week. You can't look at it as a full season. Every single rep, you have to take advantage of it. And that's what I've done. You know, I've tried to stay level-headed and stay as humble as possible. And God willing, he's been able to bless me with a lot of things in my life so far. But, man, I'm just enjoying the ride as a youngin'.
And one of those things that you've been blessed with is the opportunity to prolong your career after hanging up the collegiate cleats. You're now in Canada. What has been the experience for you in Saskatchewan thus far?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Regina, it's a great place. They accepted me with open arms. Great people up there. They love their football. It was different adjusting to the rules at the start, but once you get down to the nitty-gritty, it's just football. You just take it day by day.
You know, you're only a year removed from this senior day. Do you get any of the butterflies or that desire to play when you come back and see some of your former teammates do it?
Absolutely. Two of my roommates, today's their senior days, so I came back for them, David Larkins and Jaden Ramsey. You know, me and David, we had a moment. You know, a few tears, but you know that's part of it. You fall in love with the place, in love with the people, and you know you miss it every day.
Well, it's awesome to see those relationships continue. Now you've got a new Saskatchewan Roughrider former teammate in Avery Hall here. I know you guys will talk about that, but Michael, it's great to see you, man. Best of luck up in Canada. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, Michael Hughes, the most well-timed halftime guest maybe in our history here at Kidd Brewer Stadium. 16 apiece. We're tied, Arkansas State and App State. We'll tell you how it happened when we come back. See, these fans here, they're not leaving, and you shouldn't either, because if you took your eyes off this one for a second, you might wonder how in the world we got to a 16-16 tie. That's exactly where we are. Arkansas State, App State, winner of this game becomes bowl eligible, and we'll see if their postseason dreams end up transpiring. We'll give you highlights and stats when we come back to Kid Brewer Stadium. It's cold out there. Look at them. They're freezing here at the Rock. Back at Kid Brewer Stadium, 16 apiece were tied. David Jackson, Avery Hall. Avery, crazy end to the first half of play.
About 6 plays in about 30 seconds. A couple, turnovers. You can't make that up, but it's kind of what you expect when you have 2 5 and 6 football teams, come together. Things just not going their way, but it's a 16-16 ball game. Should make for a great second half.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights and show you exactly how we got to this point. It was about ball security pretty early on in this one, as you see Jalen Rayner with a bobbled snap that would end up turning into an App State recovery there by Brayshawn Littlejohn, and then the first points of the ball game. J.J. Cole took the opportunity to go for the end zone here.
I tell you, he's right now he's completing 60% of his passes, you know, making the most of opportunities, doing a good job of playing pitch and catch with a lot of his receivers.
Kyle Arnholt, a fumble recovery there. There were 3 total takeaways in this first half. App State had 2 of them. Big momentum surge right here came from Arkansas State. Jordan Sample's block of a Dominic DeFreitas kick really got Arkansas State kick started, and then Jalen Rayner kind of took it over from there. You see Corey Rucker with the touchdown as the Arkansas State offense seemed to feed off of chaos.
I tell you what, lots of chaos, but again, both of these teams have been through it throughout this year. Ebbs and flows, where they've had turnovers, where they've had penalties, whether they had a lot of success, you know, converting on other folks' errors, but lots of chaos in the second part of that first half.
That final touchdown there by Tyler Fortenberry, a 13-yard catch. Butch Jones and crew running off the field in a 16-16 tie thanks to a Dominic DeFreitas 45-yard field goal. There you see, if App State can possess the football, Avery Hall, 6 yards per play, you know that head coach Dowell Loggins is liking that offensive productivity.
Well, he's had some, you know, effectiveness in the pass game. Again, like I mentioned earlier, J.J. Cole, he's converting. He's 11 of 18, touchdown. You know, he's had 1 touchdown pass drop. You know, you've had Lewis get off to a hot start. You just got to run Lewis a few more, give him a few more chances to run the rock to increase this rushing game.
16 apiece. We're deadlocked. We're back with second half action when we return to Boone right after this. Head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves, Butch Jones, bringing his team back out 16 apiece for time. We talk a lot about football being a kind of a tight-knit circle, and Butch Jones was a dear friend and a mentor of kinds to Sean Clark, the former App State coach who passed away unexpectedly back earlier this fall. He said that he and Coach Clark would talk about every 2 weeks or so, and he really tried to mentor Coach Clark in his early days about how to handle expectations. He and his wife Barb were very close to Janelle and Sean, and that friendship means a little something today as Butch Jones brings his team up to the Rock for the first time, of course, since Sean Clark has moved away from the program and then eventually passed away. But just some tender moments from Butch Jones earlier this week as he was talking about his relationship with Coach Clark. Coach Clark's style special teams there, bringing the wood there on coverage. So Arkansas State with some backed up territory here. From the 14-yard line, Jalen Rayner and crew will go to work offensively in a 16-16 ball game. Rayner in the first half, 157 in the air. On 16 of 25 passing, he had 2 touchdowns. One of those to Corey Rucker. It's a handoff to Devin Spencer on the first play of the second half. And Spencer up across the 20 to about the 21.
Smart, it looks like Spencer's hurt. Smart cutback by Spencer. Running the zone play to the wide side of the field. Appalachian's defensive line had done a pretty good job of, clogging those gaps, but he had good vision. Cut it back and got what he could get. Manufactured, I think, 6 or 7 yards out of it. Let's take a look here.
Indeed down.
Again, it's tight. Holds cover, he bounces it back, gets what he can.
Abrams for Wayne on the tackle. You wonder sometimes on a day like this where you're talking about freezing temperatures right around 32 or so, the sun's starting to fade, so that temperature is going to drop, and you wonder, coming out of the locker room, all of your soft tissue kind of stuff,
no
you try to get guys out on a day like this, maybe an extra minute or two early to allow them to get warmed to back up again. But you see Devin Spencer on the cutback there and falling on the turf.
And they can ill afford to lose him because not only is he, efficient and effective out of the backfield, but he's been great in the passing game with those horizontal passes. And, he's a guy, excuse me, he's a guy that's, 5'8", 185. He's young, he's a sophomore, but he's smart. He's played a lot of football this year and just brings a lot of value to this offensive unit. Because if you think about this offensive unit, it runs through, Corey Rucker, Jalen Rayner, and Devin Spencer and Chauncey Cobb.
So Spencer's still down. They're tending to him. Meanwhile, both teams huddling up, and now Spencer's going to pop up. They're going to have to help him off the field. Sophomore out of Riverview, Florida. Again, one of the more involved offensive players, not only in this game today, but really down the stretch of the season for Arkansas State. And at a position where they have already suffered some losses due to injury. You hope Spencer is able to maybe get back on the field later, or perhaps, should Arkansas State win this game, be available for postseason opportunities should those arise for the Red Wolves. So now the Kenyon Clay show. Kenyon Clay in the first half had 5 carries for 18 yards, averaged about 3.6 per carry, and it's Clay who stands on the left side of Rayner and will catch the pass out on the screen. Shakes a tackle at the 25. It's Clay on his feet across the 30, and a first down gain on his first touch. After Spencer goes down, Kenyon Clay saying, hey, we can remain productive at the running back position.
Well, and that's an impressive play, impressive catch by Kenyon Clay, because, again, he is bigger. He's 6'1", 220 pounds, but showed a lot of agility, showed soft hands, so good job on his part.
Clay with a burst right through the middle of that App State defense. Gets about 10, maybe 11 yards on first down. That'll move the chains again. Emory Floyd on the tackle.
Kenyon Clay, he has 418 yards rushing, but really, he has caught the ball 32 times, 162 yards. So, again, he's going to be just as effective, but they don't have that depth that they would have if, Devin Spencer was in there playing as well.
Clay picks up 3. McCantos on the tackle. Kenyon Clay, also a Southern Miss transfer, actually played with App State backup quarterback Billy Wiles at Southern Miss on this field back in 2023. Now Rayner finds Fortenberry in stride. First down catch inside the 40, mark it at the 35-yard line. Tyler Fortenberry's third grab of the day moves the chains once again.
I tell you, Fortenberry is having a well of a ball game, just running down the seam and playing pitch and catch with Jalen Rayner. He's finding a space behind the linebacker in front of the safety, and it's like they can't stop it, but he's having a good football game.
19 yards on that catch. Clay stopped for a gain of 3 inside the Mountaineer 35. Colton Ferris on that tackle. This tempo offensive style putting App State on the heels as you see Fortenberry's catch once again.
Again, that's just running down the seam. Again, that's, you know, you got the corners on the outside, you got the middle linebackers coming up trying to take away the curl or the hitch route, but then if that tight end gets right behind that linebacker before the safety can come up, that's pitch and catch, easy pitch and catch for Rayner and Fortenberry.
2nd down and 7. Cedric Hawkins in at running back. Rayner dropped the snap, and that foils the play as App State's able to get home to the quarterback and drop Devin Rayner for the loss.
That, you know, those type plays have just been a thorn in Coach Butch Jones' side and this offensive unit side, because again, they can have a very productive play like the one to Fortenberry, but then, you know, an errant snap or a drop ball or a ball not handled well with an exchange. Those are the issues that they've had over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
DeNigel Cooper on the stop. He had the block kick last week against Marshall. Makes a big play there. 3rd down and 11. Arkansas State 4 of 10 on 3rd down. In the first half, most of those conversions came late. Shotgun snap back to Rayner. With time, stepping up, throws a slant route, caught, and not good for the 1st down gain. Cedric Hawkins on the tackle. Elijah McCantos on the stop for App State. And that'll bring out the kicking team for the Red Wolves to try to break this tie. And this is an area where Arkansas State's got some firepower. Clune Van Andel has 4 career 50-yard field goals. That is a school record. He's got 3 this year. That puts him amongst the elite in the Sun Belt in that regard. He is going to kick a 52-yard effort here, which would be one shy of his season best. He had a 53-yarder against Troy earlier. For the lead, from middle distance. And that hits the upright, bounces out, no good. Clune Van Andel clanks one to start this 3rd quarter, and App State gets the stand off the missed field goal. Mountaineer ball when we come back. Van Andel drilled it. It had the leg, but it also had a little too much of the upright. Those things are getting beaten today. Tie game here at the Rock. Lots to celebrate unless you are a fan of clean special teams, because it has not been a clean day in that regard on either side of the football. A missed field goal by Clune Van Andel, who again had 4 career successful kicks from 50 yards or more. He had the distance and plenty of it on a 52-yard try to start the third quarter of scoring, but he hit the upright, nearly brought the whole goalpost down. I mean, he had some energy behind that kick. And App State gets the hold on the miss by Van Andel. So it's now App State football as Rashad DeBinion takes the first handoff of App State's first drive of the second half and loses a yard, maybe 2, on the run play.
DeBinion was really, really effective first 5 or 6 ball games. But here you could tell that he's kind of banged up because he's just not as explosive, and it's like he's looking for that contact, whereas right now Lewis is running instinctively, and he's hitting hard with a sense of urgency. But again, DeBinion is banged up, and you can kind of see it as he tries to run the football.
Cole off his back foot, throws that pass to Larkins. That's caught for about an 8-yard gain. Larkins still on his feet, going second effort, trying to get the first down gain, and he will do it. David Larkins fighting through tacklers. Kyle Taylor finally tips him over, but not before the first down gain.
Good job rolling Cole out about a little more time. Good job of Larkins get open. I thought heading into the football game, I knew Jaden Barnes was out. I thought that the tight ends had to be engaged and active in this football game for Appalachian's offense to have a ton of success. And after Galloway dropped that ball, they kind of went away from the tight end, but hopefully they'll go back to the tight end in this second half here.
Jakari Lewis on the carry. Simeon Mitchell gets to him pretty quickly. 2-yard gain for Lewis. That's his 11th carry after 33 last week. 63 yards rushing, about 5.5 per carry, a little north of that. App State with 234 yards of total offense, 120 passing, 114 on the ground. Rolling through early third quarter, first possession for App State of the second half. Arkansas State marched down the field, then clanged a 52-yard field goal attempt off the uprights. Fake shovel, pass across the middle, that's caught by Mbake, shakes the tackler, 30, actually that's Dakota Dozier on the catch. Shakes the tackler at the 30, ends up near the 20. Kyle Taylor brings him down on a first down catch for Dakota Dozier.
That was his first catch, Davion Dozier's first catch of the day. Take a look here again. Good play action there, kind of make those safeties think. Allow Dozier to get open underneath. Great throw, great catch. Good run after the catch by Davion Dozier.
Now that's Mbake catching about a 5-yard pass inside the 20, so the Mountaineers inside the red zone. Brandon Barnes on the stop for Arkansas State. Dozier with his 20th catch of the year.
20th catch of the year, but his
almost
first catch today, which it's good to see him get involved, because I really thought he and Stroman had to be highly effective today in the vertical passing game.
Here's Lewis up the middle, and he's stood up by Aaron Alexander. Boy, the middleman of that linebacking core saw Lewis immediately and stymied him behind the line of scrimmage.
And yet tries to get up in there, but it's going to be hard to move Simeon Mitchell and Cody Sigler in that middle there, and just hard to do that. So good penetration by those guys, and good job by Alexander coming up and filling the gap there.
3rd down and 4. App State just 2 of 8 on 3rd downs in the first half. Here's Cole looking in, strike, got Mbake! Touchdown, black and gold. Sam Mbake, for the first time in his Mountaineer career, finds pay dirt, and that surges App State back ahead.
That is an awesome pitch and catch. Mbake, if you take a look here, he does a good job of getting separation from the defensive back here and getting open. Again, it's hard for a linebacker to run with him, and again, he just does a great job of getting separation, and Cole does a great job of putting that ball only in a place where Mbake could catch it.
Joe Drew on the coverage for Arkansas State, but Mbake hauls it in. 16-yard touchdown catch to put App State up. Dominic DeFreitas, his PAT is good, and the Mountaineers maintain a touchdown lead once again, scoring the first points of this second half. Back and forth we go. Mountaineers are back on top at the Rock, 23-16 over Arkansas State. 2016. App State on top thanks to that man Sam Mbake, who is reliving the memories over on the sideline with his teammates. Capped off a 7-play, 66-yard drive, 3:22 off the third quarter clock. Mbake from 16 yards, his first career touchdown catch here at Kid Brewer Stadium, and it puts App State back in front. Kind of a seesaw back and forth affair. And now the Mountaineers find themselves back on top. What will the Arkansas State answer be? We will soon find out as Jalen Rayner and crew come back out. Mentioned App State total offense a moment ago. Arkansas State with 249 yards total now. 191 in the air, 58 on the ground. We talked about that balance that Butch Jones wanted in thinking about how this game would play out. We'll see if the run game begins to be a bit more of a point of emphasis. They'll do so with one less member, though. Devin Spencer going out on that last drive. Looks like Kenyon Clay is back out for another look on this series. 1st and 10, Arkansas State from their own 25. Handoff goes to Clay. Gets a middle lane, twisting across the 30 up to the 33-yard line. Pickup of 7 yards on first down. Kevin Abrams-Verwain on the tackle for the Mountaineers.
Said Clay's a bigger back, and he's just explosive. He looks good. He looks smooth. He looks like he looks for contact, but still quick enough to create some yards there.
There's a pass out on the far side. Hunter Summers with the first down grab up across the 40. And Arkansas State going with this tempo again. They're a team that's got the potential to do it a couple of different ways. 44 total scoring drives coming into this week. 9 drives of 5 plays or less. As now we have another move by Rayner. Looked like he lost the ball, had a little bobble there. And comes back out with it, gets out of bounds over to the Arkansas State sideline. It's also a team that can draw out drives too. 19 times this year heading into play today. They've had 10+ play drives. So there are a couple of different gears that Butch Jones can go to with his offense. 2nd and 10. After another bobble, and now we have a flag coming in from the backfield. Looks like a false start.
Offense, number 79.
You know, when
5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
when you talk about Butch Jones going through all those different machinations or schemes or strategies, whether it's up-tempo, it says a lot about his personnel. Because, again, he's got the personnel to be able to do that, not necessarily from just a talent and physical perspective, but even from an IQ perspective. He's got a quarterback who can kind of switch gears like that and still control and manage the offense effectively.
Rayner takes off. Back across the 40, gets the penalty yardage back to the 43-yard line, back to the initial sticks. And that'll bring up 3rd down at 10. 4 of 11 are the Red Wolves today on 3rd down. Jalen Rayner, an escape artist at times, will now sling one down the field for Chauncey Cobb. That's complete inside Mountaineer territory to the 35-yard line. McCantos on the tackle. Cobb moves the chains for the Red Wolves.
This Red Wolves receiving core, take a look here. They're doing a great job of not only settling down sometimes in front of the safety, but getting right behind the linebacker and the safeties. And people say, well, why don't you go to man-to-man coverage? You can't, because you got a running quarterback. And if those DBs, again, turn their back to that running quarterback, he's going to gas you that way. So you got to play zone coverage. And these receivers are just doing a good job of either stopping right in front of the linebacker when he makes that, cut out to go up in the flats, or getting right behind the linebackers and right in between the linebacker and the safety.
Corey Rucker doing that job as Clay takes a carry on 2nd down and 4. Colton Ferris sniffs that one out. No gain on the play. 3rd and 4 coming up for the Red Wolves again. All at the App State 29. The Mountaineer defense has gotten stands in tricky territory today. Had a goal line stand earlier. Have seen a field goal try hit the uprights earlier. Can Arkansas State finish the job here? In a touchdown ball game, they trail. Rayner gets the shotgun snap. Going sideline, Rucker trying to shake Emory Floyd. Has the first down gain and will pick up a couple of extra yards on second effort. He and Floyd give each other a little respect, and the first down gain for the Red Wolves.
Corey Ruckers played in 50 games, started 50 games, in college football, and he knew exactly where the line to gain marker was, got there, made a great catch. Emery, that was actually a good immediate tackle by Emery Floyd there.
Rayner going for the end zone, overthrows his target. That was Rucker in the back of the end zone, had Cobb there as well. That'll bring up second down. Going back to Rucker, he said last year that bowl game gave him his first championship of his playing career. He said seeing the banner in the stadium, the ring on your finger, that meant something to him, and he wants that memory again. One of those vocal influences on this offensive side of the ball to try to get Arkansas State over the hump. Again, they've had a couple of opportunities to punch that 6th win, haven't done it. Trying here on this last day of the regular season. Pass underneath to Jalen Benelli. Picks up about 6 yards on second down. That'll bring up third and a long 4. Jalen Willis on the tackle.
Jalen Benelli is one of those smaller receivers, 5'11", 177. He's a junior, but does a good job of, catching that ball underneath and trying to, create some yardage in space against what you would think is a DB who's slower, but good open field tackle there.
Benelli, a transfer out of Wagner. He was the NEC Offensive Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago. 3rd and 4. Rayner. Angle pass to Benelli. That is incomplete. Wow. A flag comes in. Benelli's helmet flies off. There are flags from 3 different directions as Benelli got rocked pretty good going across the middle to make that catch.
It'll be interesting to see this replay. That lick looks more vicious than it probably was. It was a hard lick.
The result of the play is an incomplete pass, personal foul, targeting.
I don't think he meant to target, but it looked vicious. Maybe we'll get a chance to see the replay, but
they'll go to video review to confirm. It was Elijah McCantos, I believe, that they're going to get for that infraction, maybe. Yep, McCantos was the one that kind of stuck into him.
Can we see the replay one more time from that angle, that end zone shot angle? Because that's the best angle, but looks like, oh yeah, he put the crown of his helmet down. He did. He did. He did, unfortunately.
And that is the differentiator in a play like that. Benelli has popped up. He's okay.
Obviously trying to take that play out of the game, and it's real clear that, he did, I think that's McCantos, he did put his helmet down, and the crown of his helmet caught, the defenseless.
App State thin in the secondary with Juan Burchell and Dylan Haas both out today. So if McCantos goes out, that's going to make a thin secondary that much more susceptible, and somebody's going to have to step up.
It's interesting, DJ, when I watch a play like that, and I'm sitting around sometimes in a group of folks, and they say, man, that's not smart. You should keep your head up. People just don't realize that's so instinctive. I mean, I've done that. I started 48 consecutive games at Appalachian. I bet I lowered my head in every game because it's instinctive. You're kind of looking to put your head and shoulders into that receiver to try and dislodge that ball, and so it is harder not to do that than you think. And I'm not making an excuse for an illegal tackle or anything. I'm just saying that's just instinctively, that guy's coming towards you, you're going towards him, you're going to collide. You just kind of put that head down sometimes.
App State was talking earlier in the season about the fundamentals after the first couple of weeks. Here's
ruling on the field of targeting with the crown of the helmet has been upheld. Number 13 is disqualified from the game. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced.
Fans are booing, but that, by the rule, that is targeting. But it's instinctive. And most football players that have played the game, I know young folks who have not played the game probably giving more advice on it than not, but guys who played the game, they know how easy it is to put that head down.
So McCantos is ejected from the game after the targeting call is upheld. Arkansas State with a fresh set of downs. It's a goal-to-go situation from the 8. Again, Mountaineers lead by a touchdown. Arkansas State trying to capitalize on a penalty that puts them inside the 10. Jalen Rayner with Kenyon Clay just off his right-hand side. Rayner, slow plays, takes off left, and he is bare tackled. Colton Ferris was the man to meet him and pull him back. Second down.
From the genesis of the play, Rayner was definitely going to run that. Good job of coming up there, making a solid tackle there.
Now we have a stoppage. Kevin Abrams-Verwain is in pain. We're going to take a break here during this injury, and we'll come back with more information for you in a second. 23-16, Arkansas State in the red zone when we come back. We're not exactly sure if that's fandom or just trying to stay warm on a cool night here in the high country of Northwest North Carolina. Fans are into it. It's been a great game. If you don't have an allegiance to either one of these teams, the back and forth nature is one of these games you just kind of stay fixed on and keep refreshing the nachos. Speaking of other matchups, we've got a final in another game involving bowl eligibility. We'll share that in a moment. Split backs on either side of Jalen Rayner. Steps up in the pocket, throws underneath. That's Rucker. He's in. Touchdown, Arkansas State. Corey Rucker came trailing the running back, Kenyon Clay. He was wide open and gets in for the second time today.
That was just a good route by Corey, sticking with the route. He came across the field, again, in a crossing route, and you take it to see him coming across the field there. And then Jalen just does a great job of being patient, tossing the ball to him, and Corey does the rest and gets into the end zone.
Had one touchdown catch all year. He's got two today.
Got two today. And if I'm not mistaken, that ties him with Omar Bayless from a career perspective of at Arkansas State, if I'm not mistaken.
Anything that Corey Rucker does for the remainder of his Red Wolves career, no matter how long that lasts, it's going to be rewriting records that in this day and age may not be challenged for quite some time. Yeah, so the PAT is good. That's a 23-23 tie now.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns. He now has career 24 touchdowns and ties Omar Bayless at number 1. If he gets another one, he'll be the career leading touchdown reception.
We mentioned at the top of the broadcast there were 6 teams that entered play today in the Sun Belt with 5 and 6 records. There is now a new bowl-eligible team in a matchup of two squads that no Mountaineer fan would bother to send a holiday card to. Georgia Southern with a win in Huntington. 24-19 the final, so the Eagles move to 6-6, 4-4 in Sun Belt play. Their season can continue. Marshall will end things up at 5-7 after back-to-back losses to close out their years. So there's one more to add to the list. That's now 6 teams in Sun Belt play that have maintained bowl eligibility. And we are in a tie game with 17 minutes and 38 seconds remaining to see which one of these teams joins the Eagles on that list.
You know, we're surprised that Georgia Southern, you know, is at 6-6, because if you think about it, at the beginning of the season, they were picked to finish second behind JMU in the East, and so they had lofty expectations. But I'm sure they're thrilled to be 6-6 and going to a bowl. But if you probably go back to, you know, September, August of September, they were thinking, you know, Sun Belt Championship at that time.
So 2:38 to go. We are deadlocked at 23. App State out to do the honors and continue this back and forth affair. J.J. Cole to Trig Lewis on the handoff, and there goes Lewis. Got into the second level up to the 31-yard line. Nice 6-yard pickup on first down.
Good job by the offensive line there. Knocking those big fellas of Arkansas State off the ball, creating a little gap there for Lewis.
Handoff fake to Lewis. Pass complete to the tight end Dylan Galloway. Freshman out of Brevard meets Aaron Alexander, but not before the first down gain. Galloway, a freshman, had a 9-yard catch against James Madison. Was the first of his career. He made his debut against Georgia State. He is one of those rookie players that, especially with David Larkins graduating, has an opportunity to get into the mix at the tight end spot. Here's Lewis again, shaking a tackler, nearly kept his balance as he belly crawls across the 40-yard line up to the 43. Pickup of 7 almost on first down.
J.J. Cole is tall. The defensive backs, particularly the safeties, can really see him, and his play action just kind of really freezes them. He'll mimic throwing the football, and you can see them just kind of pause a sec, and that gives Lewis a little room to gain a few more yards. Nigel
Nelson was on that last tackle. Lewis works into a pile of just about everybody that's available on the field. A yard shy, but third down and 1. I think that might have been more about warmth as well. There was a planned run play into a pile so everybody could get around each other just to warm up for a second. And now we'll go at it again.
They need to come pile up around us up here in the booth. But no, that again, bunch of big bodies in there, not a lot of real estate when you got Simeon Mitchell and Cody Sigler there in the middle.
Third down and 1, and Bakke in motion low. Handoff goes to Lewis, has the first down and then some to the midfield stripe. First down, App State. Joe Drew on the tackle as Lewis now has his 16th carry. Now we have a whistle and an injured Mountaineer.
That's a serious injury. You see how the players started flagging for medical assistance immediately. So they clearly saw something that didn't look right to them.
That's an App State offensive lineman down on the field.
Wow, and that's just been the offensive line. I mean, you have to really be proud of these guys because, like I said, with Poindexter, with both Ramseys, with Jackson, they've had a lot of injuries, and over the last 3 or 4 ball games, they've had to shuffle the rotation and plug guys in certain spots that they're not acclimated to playing, and it's just been a tough go. But they played really, really well considering the number of injuries.
Shamar Jackson is the injured Mountaineer, the right tackle, 6'3" redshirt senior out of Loris, South Carolina, by way of New Mexico State. As both of these teams have unfortunately had to become accustomed to waiting a few of these out today. We've had a few prolonged injuries on both sides. Kind of what you expect in the regular season finale. You were talking earlier about just kind of this war of attrition with players doing the best they can to be as healthy as they can and leaving it all out there in a game that means what this one does.
DJ, it's interesting as a player, as a former player, and most players will tell you, if you're 11-1, you know you're banged up, but you're still ready to go. When you're 5-6 or 6-6 and you're banged up, towards this juncture of the season, you know, you kind of can't wait to kind of let your body heal. And at this point in the season, everybody's taped up, everybody's patched up, everybody's got something hurting them, and it never fails. I mean, I played, like I said, in 48 consecutive games here at Appalachian, and at the end of every season, my body was just done. And so, you know, you're going to have these type injuries, and you're going to have, you know, players get nicked, and it's just that time of the year. I mean, you've had hand-to-hand combat. You've been physically abusing folks, and folks been physically abusing you for 12 football games. And at this juncture, your body's just worn down.
So Donnell Nix Jr., the 6'5 freshman out of Toledo, is going to take over for Shamar Jackson. Nix has had some playing time this year, so this isn't like a completely raw player coming in to play a position. Nix has had plenty of time in the rotation. First down and 10, the line to gain, the 40-yard line of Arkansas State. Off the left side, Lewis trying to run, and he runs into a pile of defenders. Chris Bodie was among those leading the charge. DeMarcus Hendricks in there as well. That may be the last play of this third quarter as we roll inside 20 seconds. You see Lewis, and you see a lot of white jerseys. And that will indeed be the final play of quarter number 3. So 3 quarters down, we're right back where we started. 23 apiece, 15 minutes to bowl eligibility. Will it be the Red Wolves or the Mountaineers punching their ticket to postseason? We'll find out after this. 23 apiece, fourth quarter action set to come from Kid Brewer Stadium. David Jackson, Avery Hall with you. Other action around the league. We told you Georgia Southern a winner over Marshall, so the Eagles bowl eligible now after their 24-19 victory. Troy and Southern Miss are playing for the other spot opposite James Madison in next week's Sun Belt Championship game. Troy right now up 14-3 at halftime. Some of those other scores, Texas State trying to get bowl eligible. They are on their way. We'll see how this all transpires. We got 15 minutes to go as it is right here. App State with the football, driving toward the Miller Hill end zone here to start this fourth quarter of play. Chris Bodie in on the tackle of Trig Lewis. Lewis with now 18 carries, just shy of 90 yards on the game. 3rd down and 7 coming up for App State from the Arkansas State 47. J.J. Cole, 16 of 23 passing, buck 77. Takes a 5-step drop, rolling out with some pressure on him, has to heave this ball and does so into the Mountaineers sideline. Again, great pressure from Cody Sigler and Ethan Hassler just bothering that play from the start.
Good pressure, forcing Cole out. Take a look here, they force him out, and really he was going to have to roll out because all of the receivers were covered. The safeties had bracketed Davion Dozier, and again, the underneath receiver and the tight ends, they were all covered. So again, he did the smartest and best thing to throw that away.
Ian Ratliff to punt for the 3rd time today. He had a long of 55. Fair catch at the 7-yard line. And that's where Arkansas State will take it from there. Time becoming a factor in a 23-23 game in Boone. .23 apiece. App State, Arkansas State. Just underway, fourth quarter. You see the Red Wolves trying for their 13th bowl trip. 4 and 8 in bowl games in the FBS era. They won the 68 Ventures Bowl over Bowling Green last year, trying to get back for a 2nd consecutive year under Butch Jones, a man who is one of only 3 coaches in the FBS level to take 4 different teams to multiple bowl games. Here's Jalen Rayner nearly out of his own end zone, and he completes that one to Chauncey Cobb, right on the numbers on the Mountaineer boundary. That's a big chunk play on 1st down from Jalen Rayner.
That's just the go route. Chauncey gets behind the DBs. That's just speed. He just does a good job of getting behind and outrunning the DBs. Take a look here. Again, the offensive line gives Rayner enough time to get that out that he just outruns that safety and gets behind them.
37-yard pickup for Cobb on 1st down. Here is the shifty back Kenyon Clay trying to pick up yardage. Got maybe one, couldn't get away from Rondo Porter. Go back to Chauncey Cobb. He only had one 16-yard catch against Louisiana back on that Thursday night game about 9 days ago. That was the only single catch game of his season. He's had a great bounce back. 5 catches for 117 now.
Well, you know, he knows that defense is going to focus on Corey Rucker, so he has an opportunity, and he's taking advantage of it today.
Here's Rayner again, sideline route. Rucker was the intended target. That ball batted away. Ethan Johnson, the senior out of Charlotte, the legacy Mountaineer DB with the swat down.
Ethan doing a good job of keeping that short arm on the receiver and kind of controlling, not controlling his body because that's going to say hold it, but look at how he does a good job of pushing him towards the sideline, but using that long arm to stay between the quarterback and the ball and knocking that ball down. 3rd
down and long for Arkansas State. 6 of 13 on 3rd down. Much better conversion rate from about the mid-second quarter line on. 13-11 clock stop, tie game. Shotgun snap to Rayner. Digging, and that ball's picked off. Picked off. That's Ferris to the near sideline, and a late flag after the fact. Colton Ferris gets the Mountaineers a stop they needed just outside the red zone.
Colton Ferris is a really good football player. If you take a look at this play, you remember all night long, all day long, we've been talking about how the Arkansas State receivers have gotten right behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties. Well, this time, Colton, watch it. He kind of baits his guy, thinks he's not going to be able to rub off the other receiver and get to that receiver. Great effort by Colton Ferris of baiting the quarterback, thinking he had more clearance there than he actually did. Good interception, good return after the interception.
Tack on 15 yards for a face mask on the tackle. And App State is in a golden opportunity on the 3rd career interception for Colton Ferris. That may put an exclamation mark on an all-conference season for the Mountaineer linebacker. 82 tackles now, 3 interceptions, 10 tackles for loss after having one earlier today. Ferris has been the heartbeat of the App State defense. He and Rondo Porter have been kind of the consistent energy throughout the entire year. And those two guys rewarding themselves with one final good ride here at the Rock. So let's see what App State can do with it now. Again, 23 apiece. That's the 3rd Arkansas State turnover of the day. And now we have a whistle and a stoppage and a penalty against the Mountaineers. That's the 4th whistled against App State today.
Offense, number 56.
It looks like when Arkansas State's big linemen, they shifted from an odd front to an even front, it threw the Appalachian offensive linemen, and they moved.
There's App State's bowl record, trying for their 9th try in the FBS era. They last were in a bowl in 2023, that muddy affair down in Orlando. 13-9 win over Miami in the Cure Bowl. Trying to get back to postseason. The winner of this game will be bowl eligible.
See, they're moving from an even front to an odd front, and that kind of throws that offensive line a little bit, but they hung in there this time.
Lewis tried the cutback and picked up maybe 3 yards on the play, so it'll bring up 2nd down and long. 2nd and about 12. Kyle Taylor in pursuit for Arkansas State. Clock rolling inside 13 minutes. Early 4th quarter.
DJ, I just got pinged. Somebody said, what is an even front? Even front is when you've got a defensive tackle and a nose tackle. They're lined up on the guards. Odd front is when you have a nose tackle on the center and then 2 other defenders on the guards.
Cole for Larkins. Catch made at the 30 with positive progress. That'll get back inside the initial sticks. Aaron Alexander holding on to the Mountaineer redshirt senior tight end and brings him down with 3rd down and 7 to get from the 30-yard line. The line to gain just inside the 22 of Arkansas State territory. You know, I appreciate the fact you answer your messages. I've never heard Kirk Herbstreit answer a text on the air.
Well, you know, sometimes
he's got his dog there he's busy with, of course, but
when you're married for 29 years and got kids, you always keep
you answer the phone.
But no, just some people just reach out, and that was a great question. But most defenses are designed to have 6 guys on one side, 5 on the other, and that's what the offensive unit is looking to try and take advantage of. Where there's a misalignment, where there's mismatch. And so if you got those two defensive tackles on the guards, it's even. I know it sounds odd, but then if you got the one defensive tackle or nose guard on the center and then two other interior linemen on the guards, that's the odd front there. But good question.
So a 48-yard try for Dominic DeFreitas after Cole's pass was batted on 3rd down and long. Good snap. Hold is down for the lead. Saw blade, and it's through! Dominic DeFreitas is going to need an ice bath for that leg tonight, even with as cold as it is. From 48, and the Mountaineers retake the lead at 26-23. It's the Dom DeFreitas show. He's got ice cold water in those veins tonight at the Rock. This Mountaineer defense has been opportunistic today. 10 takeaways in the last 4 games, 2 forced fumbles and an interception. They lead to points, they lead to opportunities, Avery Hall, and this is an App State defense that over the last 2 weeks, they're now +6. Amazing turnaround for this club.
You got a team coming together. I mean, a defensive unit that's coming together. They played 12 ball games now. They're being very, very physical. They're playing with a high IQ. Playing alignment football, and what I mean by that is the D-line, linebackers, DBs, everybody's a line that's interrelated, so they're all playing pretty well. They've just gotten better. Now, JMU was a dumpster fire. They rushed for 324 yards. It was not a good game, but if you look at the totality of what they've done, they've gotten better over the last 5 or 6 ball games. 4
field goals made today for Dominic DeFreitas out of 5 attempts. He had 1 blocked back early in the second quarter. It's the second time this year he's had 3 or more field goals in a game. Here's Clay on the run on 1st down, and he fails to get the corner. Kevin Abrams-Verwain back on the field after leaving briefly due to injury, and he stops Kenyon Clay right at the line of scrimmage.
That was a good job of just collapsing down the line. When I say collapsing, going down the line and stand, square and making a good tackle there.
Here's Rayner with 285 yards passing, trying to add to that tally. Ball is tipped away and incomplete. That was nearly both caught and intercepted almost simultaneously. Kyle Arnholt and Colton Ferris were there to break it up.
Again, he's trying to find a little bit. They've gotten better. Again, first half, they were allowing those receivers to run around and have a little more space in between the linebackers and the safeties, and even in between in front of the linebackers. They've made some adjustments. They know their spacing. They're getting to that area quicker and creating some disruption for this Arkansas State offense.
Summers in motion toward the bottom of your screen. Will be out wide. Rayner drifting back with trouble. Brought down. Jalen Rayner brought down on the QB sack on 3rd down and long, and the App State defense flexes their muscle once again. DeNigel Cooper wins the race to the QB.
Man, that's outstanding pressure by DeNigel, just the entire defensive line. Again, those guys, four down linemen, putting pressure on Rayner. Again, throughout this ball game, there's been some times where he's had too much time, not on that particular play at a critical time. Good pass rush, good pressure on the quarterback.
Abrams Verwain credited with the sack. Cooper was there on the scoop of a ball that was knocked loose by the ground after the fact. Punt away by Waller. Greer retreating, catching, backpedaling, and it established the fair catch. And they'll mark that football at the 34-yard line. So App State with the ball up 3, 10-14 to go in the game. Avery Hall, you got to be smart with possession here, but this is an opportunity to use a little bit of clock and kind of go with that game-clinching philosophy. A touchdown here makes for a hard margin to come back against with precious little time.
And that's why I think you have to make sure you continue to run the football, but you've got to be aggressive enough that you can convert on 3rd down, and you've got to be aggressive enough that you can keep this defense off balance and hopefully put 7 points on the board to make this a 2-possession football game. So there's going to be a balance there. You got to run the ball, but you got to be aggressive enough to move the chains.
Arkansas State goes 3 and out after the game-separating field goal. Here's Trig Lewis on the catch. Nice stutter step to get extra yardage. Turns a 2-yard gain into a 5-yard gain up to the 40-yard line. Lewis active out of the backfield. That's his 4th catch of the day to go along with 18 carries.
Nice little stutter step here. Look here. He does a good job of turn his head back, catching the football, puts his foot in the ground there, cuts it back, and gets about 3 more yards after first contact.
Simeon Mitchell drives him out of bounds. Alexander was the one who had his ankles broken there. Trig Lewis spinning off of tacklers. And in the heap, he'll find himself about a yard shy of the first down. A.G. McGee is the one that kind of spun him away at the last second there. So 3rd down and 1 coming up for App State, clock rolling. This is an important 3rd down conversion opportunity for the Mountaineers. They're 4 of 12 on 3rd down today. Clock management paramount for the rest of this game. 3-point App State lead. Lewis to the top, Mbake in motion. Hand off to Lewis, and he's bear hugged, not gonna get it. Stopped well short of the line of scrimmage. Positive progress, dropped him back a yard. Kyle Taylor and DeMarcus Hendricks snuff out the run play.
Again, those guys just getting penetration. Number 10 there, DeMarcus Hendricks, 6'2", 246. Not a big guy, but does a good job of getting penetration, not allowing Lewis to get forward progress going. In that situation, if I were Lewis, I mean, I'd probably keep it inside, but he tries to bounce it outside.
Trig Lewis walking off gingerly. Shoulder issue that may have crept back up from last week. Trenton Allen Yao was also in on that stop again. We talked about him earlier. He was with App State for a couple of seasons. Had an interception for the Mountaineers against Georgia State last year. Played 25 career games for the Black and Gold. And now App State on 4th and short. Messing around here like they want to go for it.
You're not going to go for it in this field position. You're trying to see if they're going to jump, because again, this would give them ideal real estate.
David Larkins in the QB spot.
Ball game. I'm sorry, DJ.
That was just. Yeah, App's done some innovative things with special teams here lately. And I love some David Larkins as much as anybody. When you see David Larkins running up under center, you know there's a trick on somewhere. Yeah, so now they'll drop back in a traditional punt formation for Ian Ratliff. Ratliff has had a busy day today. Special teams player of the week, 4 punts, 43.8-yard average along a 55. He punts a missile back with an opportunity for a return. 25-30. And Badelli knocked out there. We'll take a timeout. Getting down to crunch time in a 3-point game here at The Rock. 8 minutes to go. 3-point lead for the Mountaineers. We're back at Boone. David Jackson, Avery Hall with you. 3-point game. App State in front. Jalen Rayner and the Arkansas State Red Wolves ready to take things over with 8:10 to go in the game. And trying to keep this seesaw affair indeed teetering from one side to the other. App State with a 48-yard field goal from Dominic DeFreitas. The difference right now as the handoff goes to Kenyon Clay, who has taken the lion's share of the running back duties here in this second half after an early injury to Devin Spencer.
Appalachian definitely wants to get his mojo on defense because, again, it's getting late in this football game, 7 minutes left, and somebody's going to make a play, and I do believe the next team that makes that big explosive play or gets that next play that leads to a touchdown or field goal will win this football game. Again, it's getting late in the game and it's cold, but you got to find a way to pick it up.
Rayner using the feet, trying to get the corner, does so, 45 and pushed out. First down gain and then some for Jalen Rayner, who adds now 12 carries and about 30 yards to his tally on the day.
Smart play by Rayner. Clearly saw that all of the receivers were covered. If you can look, I mean, he looks downfield, not long, but he decides to get out of there and try and manufacture some yards there.
Jordan Favors runs him out of bounds. Favors playing for Elijah McCantos, who was lost due to targeting earlier in the game, and down goes Rayner. Dylan Manuel tips over the quarterback for another tackle for loss.
Dylan Manuel was not fooled at all. Again, it was real clear that Rayner was going to run that football from the beginning of the play. And take a look here. Manuel does a good job of disengaging from the guard and making a great play there. Good penetration. Tackle for loss.
Abrams Verwain in the vicinity as well. Loss of 2. Second and a long 11. Clay to the top side of Rayner in the shotgun. Rayner with time. Underneath, released by Summers. Catches and crosses midfield about the 49-yard line. Summers popped back up for some reason.
I don't think I like that play. Take a look here. He grabs the guy, he tackles the guy. The guy's knee is down right there. Why did he spot the ball 2 yards ahead of them?
And now they're going to check the spot.
Folks, they spotted the ball 2 yards ahead of where the guy's knee went down because they're going to say, look, that he rolled over once the defender makes a tackle, and they're assuming that number 3 lands on the body of the Appalachian defender. But if you look here, his knee clearly touches down. Take a look here. His knee clearly touches. He's down. So when he gets up to run, he gains 2 more yards. They give him the courtesy of those 2 yards, and that's just not right.
So that is why they have stopped things. Ethan Johnson on the tackle there, and Tim Barker getting some instructions from the replay booth. An active replay booth today. Our replay official Delbert Bell.
After video review, the runner's arm was down at the plus 49-yard line. It's 3rd down.
So that will back things up. Not only, that's about 3, almost 4 yards, Avery Hall, to the 49.
I said 2 to be generous, but it looked like 3 or 4 yards. But that's a good call.
6 minutes to go. Now what takes a 3rd and short and makes it 3rd and difficult. 3rd and 7 is the play call from just on the Mountaineer side of midfield. Rayner in the shotgun. He's got Clay up top. Tight end Fortenberry in motion. He settles underneath. Rayner across the middle. That ball tipped and incomplete. Intended for Rucker. Blanket coverage from Emory Floyd. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Great coverage by Emory Floyd. Again, he just runs with the receiver and does a great job of timing that ball. Take a look. He's going to run with the receiver, not allow the receiver separates, and then bam, gets his hand in there. Good coverage, good reaction by Emory Floyd.
Greer standing back at his 5. Jackson Waller said to putt this football away. Waller today 4 punts for an average of 44. He's had a long of 49, 2 inside the 20. This one looks to be inside the 20 as well, and it will be. 15-yard line is where App State will take it with 5:44 to go, up 3 points. This is the opportunity to run the football, Avery Hall. This is where a solid run game, and one that has been led for these last 2 weeks by Jakari Trigg-Lewis, can be the icer as long as you can get the blocking to do it. Lewis today, 20 carries for 90 yards. It's still 13 carries shy of what he had last week. But he may get it on this drive. The Mountaineers can move it.
The thought process is the defense is playing okay right now. They've stopped Arkansas State on a couple of possessions. You got to run the ball effectively. And again, when you run the ball effectively,
there's a home run ball. It's Mbake behind the defense, and it's off his fingertips. Trenton Allen Yao was right with him, and you know that moment means something to him as he breaks up the pass to Mbake that would have flipped the field.
I like the play call. Again, you got to be able to run the football, but that's going to make the safeties and the linebackers think a little bit instead of just putting 7 in the box. And now on these next 2 plays, it's going to be 2nd and 10. It looks like the fans are wanting pass interference on that, but now you're going to have a chance to have a little more room in there to run the football based on what just transpired, that play call.
DeBinion goes in motion. Bubble screen out to DeBinion, who catches at the 15-yard line, releases up to the 19. So a pickup of about 4 brings up 3rd down and 6. Aaron Alexander has done a great job with running with receivers on those screen passes all day long, and he's the one that brings down DeBinion.
And you know, you're talking about running the football. Remember, Trigg-Lewis went down with his shoulder. DeBinion has a hurt wrist that if he gets hit on that wrist, he could potentially drop the football. This is a tough play calling situation, a drive for Appalachian State.
Larkins in short motion, going in that direction. Larkins with the catch up above the 25 as the 1st down.
So you talk about having 2 banged up running backs in Lewis and DeBinion. Now you're going to have to try that horizontal pass game. You know, I'm not saying DeBinion can't run in between the tackles, but you have to be cognizant of his banged up wrist.
Here's DeBinion trying to run in between the tackles, and he runs into a wall of defenders. Kyle Taylor, the first one to him. DeBinion will pick up 3 on the play to the 30-yard line, but those were 3 tough yards for Rashad DeBinion.
DJ, you were talking about his injury, DeBinion. You said he couldn't squeeze the ball, or heard he couldn't squeeze the ball with that wrist injury. That's the thing that the coaches are probably concerned about as well, if he can't squeeze that football and hang on to it and hold it tight, high and tight.
2nd down and 7 from the App State 30, rolling toward the 4-minute mark. Again, time becoming a factor. Both teams with all 3 timeouts. DeBinion up the middle, has some running room, 40-yard line. Another movement of the chains for a 1st down for Rashad DeBinion. Kyle Taylor on the tackle. DeBinion meant everything to this run game at the beginning of the year. What a fitting way for him to end the season by carrying such meaningful yards forward as App State tries to plow toward their 6th win.
If you look at that replay there, DeBinion needs to slap Jaden Ramsey, Caden Sweat, Will Flowers, Griffin Scroggs, and Donnell Nix. He needs to go slap them on the buttocks because they knocked Arkansas State purely off the ball on that last play.
Not so much that time as DeBinion is peeled back after a gain of 2. DeMarcus Hendricks has been a consistent threat in the run game defense, and he was able to beat his man and get to DeBinion.
Arkansas State, like I said, we've been talking about all game. They've got some big bodies up front, and they've got they've got an all-conference player in Cody Sigler and maybe Simeon Mitchell, but those guys are very, very good up front. And then they got a guy Gavin Ransall who comes in who's pretty effective as well.
Fake handoff, pass to Larkins. He's got it down the seam. Still on his feet inside the 30-yard line. 1st down, black and gold. A huge catch for the redshirt senior Larkins. Flips the field and gives the Mountaineers field position with 2:35 to play.
Gutsy play call. Good protection by the offensive lineman. Great throw by the quarterback. Outstanding catch by the receiver. Take here a look. Good protection. Again, buys them a little time for, is that Larkins? Or no, that's Galloway. No, is that Larkins?
That's Larkins.
Larkins to get down the field and makes that catch, and good run after the catch by Larkins.
26-yard catch for Larkins. He was brought down by A.G. McGee. 4 catches, 51 yards for the redshirt senior in his last game at the Rock. Dozier in motion. Handoff goes to Lewis, who's back in. Lewis breaks free of a tackle. Still on his feet, 20. Shakes another one inside the 15. Trig Lewis
This is
inside the red zone for the Mountaineers with under 2 minutes to go. We've got a time out on the field. App State charging forward toward pay dirt in a 3-point game here at Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone. For today, but our fine production crew battling 29-degree temperatures, a feel like of 24 out there. They have stood with it to provide you the images of what has been a nail biter here at the Rock, and not only all season long too. This crew has done their job and then some, so thanks to you all. Hope you warm up after this one's over. We'll join you. It is not warm in this booth right now. Stoppage of play on the field. Timeout taken by Arkansas State as Jakari Lewis comes out of the 2-minute timeout with a short run. Lewis now over the 100-yard threshold on 21 carries. So the first stoppage taken by Arkansas State. We play the math here. 1:53 to go, 2 timeouts left. If Arkansas State can limit Appalachian State to what would be their 5th field goal of the day, you got a chance to drive down and win it. The way we saw the first half end, I don't think we should count anything out at this stretch. App State in the driver's seat, of course. They score a touchdown here, and you all but end it.
And I really like the disposition of the offensive line right now. They just seem, and I hope I don't jinx them, but they just seem to be in it to win it right now and knocking these guys off the ball.
Here's DeBinion straight up the middle to about the 10-yard line, still churning forward. The pile moves to the 7. Aaron Alexander tried to grab on and hold on. But Rashad DeBinion with the carry to the 7-yard line. That brings up 3rd down and short. Boy, DeBinion again, a guy that saw his production dip 78, almost 79 yards per game different in the last 6 of the game versus the first 5 as Arkansas State takes another timeout. He was not only leading the Sun Belt Conference, but one of the top 5 running backs in the entire country through the middle of the season. And then as he got dinged up, that productivity fell. Trig Lewis emerged, and App State has been able to have just enough of the running game to be effective as they've made this charge down the stretch of these last 2 games.
And just think, if you can keep Sweat, Flowers, some of these major pieces on the offensive line, if you can keep Dozier, Lewis, DeBinion, you know, if you could keep these guys, Barnes, I know he's not played in a while. If you can keep these guys next year, man, wow, what a great nucleus to start with.
Here's 3rd down and 2. Handoff goes to DeBinion. Off the pile, trying to get to the 5-yard line. He is going to be right on that marker.
Arkansas just used their final timeout. So if Appalachian State decides to go for it,
got 141 and no timeout.
You got 141 and no timeouts. If they get that first down, it's the ball game. Now, if they don't get it and they go for it, at least Arkansas State has to go 95 yards. So you're weighing, do I go ahead and kick the field goal with it being 4th and 1, or do I, you know, really just let my 6'7" quarterback get under center, not put him in shotgun? I don't understand why coaches do that, but put him under center and let him just push, and the center push, and maybe if he just extends his long arms, he gets the first down.
App State with 31 4th down tries this year. Dowell Loggins said one of his NFL friends calls him, like, from an offensive coordinator standpoint, he's 4th and go for it. He's just all the time going for it on 4th down. That's exactly what the Mountaineers are going to do here. 4th and 1 is the call from the 6. The line to gain is the 5. If App State moves the chains here, you can call it ball game at the Rock. If Arkansas State gets a stop here, then the Red Wolves have 95 yards to bowl eligibility. Here is the ball game in a nutshell.
They're in the odd front. They got a guy right over the center.
Cole gets the shotgun snap. DeBinion, fake. It's a pass. Touchdown! Ball game at the Rock. Dylan Galloway in the back of the end zone on the play fake. And after dropping one earlier, Galloway gets redemption. And now wait a second. There is a stoppage. Hold everything here. There was a penalty after the touchdown. A celebration penalty that will be tacked on to the point after try, perhaps. So App State with the touchdown to make it. Hold every. They're going to wave off the touchdown. And this is DeFreitas trying to kick a 29-yard field goal. Good snap. Hold is down. The kick is good. So the field goal try stands. App State does not get the touchdown. That's called back due to an illegal formation penalty. And now a 6-point game with 1:34 to go. And the Red Wolves can drive down and win it potentially.
Wow.
Well, what a turn of events. So wave off the touchdown for Galloway. The penalty against App State takes the touchdown off the board. Dowell Loggins goes for the field goal, gets it. That's 5 field goals on the day now for Dominic DeFreitas. And that gives App State a 6-point lead with 1:34 to go. Again, Arkansas State, no timeouts.
No timeouts. So again, they're going to try and get their passes to the sideline so they can get their guy, the receivers, to get out of bounds. But DJ, you got to watch the middle, because do you remember what J.J. Cole did to them earlier in this ball game by running up the middle to amass a lot of yards to put Appalachian in field goal range to end the first half? So the strategy for Arkansas State is to, you know, work the clock, make sure that they don't run the ball and get stopped without getting the first down.
McVay's kickoff
and
ruled a touchback.
But you got to make sure you protect the middle of the field, but at the same time, know they're going to try and work the sidelines to methodically go down the field.
12 play, 71-yard drive, nets the field goal. Again, the 5th of the day for Dominic DeFreitas. All right, so touchdown ties it. PAT wins it. Jalen Rayner, 5 career game-winning drives. Second most among active QBs. Thursday night, Against Louisiana, this Arkansas State team drove down and was denied at their own 1-yard line. 2 games ago against Southern Miss, they threw a pick in the end zone to end it. Will the third time be the charm for the Red Wolves? Here's Rayner. Underneath pass, caught and immediate stiff arm out of bounds. Kenyon Clay out of the backfield. So that'll stop the clock at the 31-yard line, 1:29 to go.
Again, they're going to run routes to try and send the receiver once he catches the football into the sideline. So again, they're going to do that all day long. You just can't let them get behind the defensive back or get too close.
Rayner again, another sideline route, this time caught by Jalen Benelli, the junior from Miami. His second catch of the day will move the chains for Arkansas State. First down and 10 at the 37-yard line.
The front four of Appalachian's defensive line, it's imperative that they get pressure on Rayner right now and make him uncomfortable.
Clay blocking. Verwain gets to him. That pass floated and thrown incomplete, intended for Cobb. Down the seam. That pressure from Verwain got to Rayner, had to throw it quickly.
Again, good pressure by Abrams. Verwain getting there and making Rayner throw that football before he wanted to. Really couldn't step into it and overthrew the ball there. But again, the front four, they must get pressure on the quarterback.
4 wide, 3 up top. Rayner toward the sideline again. This time the catch made inbounds. Jalen Benelli short of the first down. We'll bring up third down and short. Clock rolling inside 1:05. Ethan Johnson on the tackle. 3rd and 2. Rayner claps his hands quickly. Looking down the seam, that ball is caught. They're going to rule that a catch. Inside the 35-yard line for Fortenberry. Zaire Gamble on the catch. It was hard to see if Fortenberry rolled over with the football. Clock stops, actually clocked his rolling as the chains get set. Rayner going for the pylon. There's Rucker, catches inside the 5. He's pushed out at the 1-yard line.
Wow.
Corey Rucker with 45 seconds left, 1st and goal inside the 1. Arkansas State trying to work quickly here. No timeouts left. Snap to Rayner, handoff, and that's a touchdown! Red Wolves, Clay from 1 yard out. And Arkansas State has tied it with 42 seconds left.
The good thing is Appalachian has 3 timeouts, 42 seconds left, and you can do some damage with 42 seconds left. So it's a tie ball game. It's about to be 30-29. I think in 40 seconds, if the coaches call the right plays, they can advance this ball close enough to get a field goal opportunity.
Van Andel on for the PAT. For the lead. Good snap. Hold is down. The kick is up and good. And Clune Van Andel boots through the PAT to give the Red Wolves a 30-29 advantage with 42 seconds to play. And some vindication for an Arkansas State team that has seen back-to-back weeks fall short in that drive. This time, Jalen Rayner goes 7 plays, 75 yards in less than a minute.
I tell you what, it's a good football game. You just hope that Appalachian State can now use 42 seconds to go down the field and get in field goal range to maybe have a walk-off field goal as time expires. They've got 3 timeouts. They've got capable receivers. They've got a capable quarterback. The offensive line has protected well in the second half. So hopefully they can go down the field and get a field goal here.
Boy, how about Corey Rucker's final regular season game for Arkansas State? 10 catches, 90 yards, a pair of touchdowns. Got tackled out there at the 1. Kenyon Clay, 14 carries, 52 yards and a score, again carrying the bulk of the offensive load on the ground after Spencer was lost due to injury early in the second half. Pooch kick. Caught by App State at the 30. And the Mountaineers will have the football. 42 seconds on the clock. They need a field goal to win it. Dominic DeFreitas has kicked 5 of them today.
You know, I played defensive line probably for a reason, but you know, it's interesting. On the first few plays here, I'm not so sure. I try to be very, very aggressive, because when you really need it, when we get 2 or 3 downs into this situation, it's going to be harder to get that ball behind the defensive backs. But I try early in this drive to get as many chunk plays as possible.
So here goes Cole with DeBinion off his side as a protection back. Underneath catch. And not quite out of bounds is Dalton Stroman. He'll get to the 39-yard line. That's enough to move the chains. Clock stops with 34 seconds to go. App State with all 3 timeouts.
They're going to use 2, but they're going to have to save 1 for potentially set up a field goal opportunity.
Here's Cole, and it bobbles that catch. Now Larkins right near the midfield stripe, and they will blow it dead on a 9-yard pickup for David Larkins. Aaron Alexander in on the stop, and App State will use one of those timeouts with 26 seconds left.
Keep in mind, they're going to have to call a play that gets them to the sideline, because they only have 1 more timeout. They'll get at least 2 more plays before they have to try and probably go for a field goal. So they want to get at least, gosh, at least 20 to 25 more yards to make it a reasonable field goal attempt. But at the same time, they're going to have 2 more plays if they use this, the 2 of their one of their 2 timeouts that are remaining.
David Larkins being tended to during the timeout. Looks like he's okay. Boy, Larkins has had a whale of a ball game, 5 for 61. Again, if you were with us a moment ago and thought that App State scored a touchdown to basically ice it, that touchdown was taken off the board due to a illegal procedure penalty. App State kicked the field goal, went up 6. Arkansas State went 7 plays in less than a minute, scored a touchdown, kicked a PAT, and now they lead by a point. So App State with 2nd and 1 from their own 49-yard line. 26 seconds left, down by 1. Shotgun snap back to Cole. With time, slinging it out toward the sideline, and Mbake lost the handle on it. Would have been a catch inside the 40. Instead, Mbake leaning back to make the catch, had it pop off his fingertips. Kyle Williams in coverage for Arkansas State. Brings up 3rd down and 1.
You got to get the first down, obviously. And so that's going to probably may cause you to use your timeout, because you want to call a high probability play to get the first down here.
Well, Mbake knew he was going to get smoked, and I think he just lost it. Cole across the middle, and that pass off the fingertips of Larkins. Blanketed coverage there by Kyle Williams brings up 4th and 1. Got to have this.
You got to have the first down. That's why I say you should go ahead and run the football or do something to get the first down and then call a timeout, unfortunately. But, you know, you got to have a first down or you won't be in field goal range here.
Ball game play right here. App State needs the conversion. That Arkansas State defensive line cocked back as Cole stands, fires in the pocket. That pass is caught by Mbake inside the 40. First down, Mountaineers. Clock stops with 13 seconds to move the chains. App State may take one of those timeouts, and they will. So a timeout taken by App State with 13 seconds to go inside the 40-yard line. Brandon Barnes on the stop.
Great timeout here, because now you can come together and figure out which play is the best play. You know, in practice, you've been in this scenario, you've practiced situational coaching, you've practiced kind of what to do in a situation where the ball's on the 39, it's 1st and 10. You need probably, Dave, would you say 12 to 15 more yards to have a reasonable field goal attempt? So what play best positions this Appalachian offense to get the ball down the field, maybe 12 to 15 more yards? So good timeout there. Let's see what they've dialed up to put them in a position to utilize that last timeout to kick a field goal.
5 field goals today for DeFreitas, his longest 48. He's also hit 2 from 43, a 45, and a 29.
This would be a 56 right now, right?
Ball at the 39-yard line, 1st down and 10. A lot of time for Cole going toward the sideline, overthrown, intended for Stroman. 9 seconds on the clock.
Got one more chance for one more play, but it's got to be a quick strike. Quick strike, and it's got to get you at least, you know, 10 to not even really that much, maybe 5 to 10 yards here.
Again, the longest this year for DeFreitas, a 49-yarder against Oregon State. Shotgun snap comes to Cole. Pressure coming to him across the middle. They hit Larkins inside the 30. That's well within range. Timeout taken with 3 seconds to go. Larkins on the catch.
Please reset the game clock to 4 seconds. 4 seconds on the game clock, please.
The game clock will be reset to 4. Boy, Larkins walking off the field right now. He looks like a true warrior.
Was that 44-yarder, DJ? 44-yard field goal attempt coming up. 27 plus 10 is 37 plus 7. It's 44.
That's pretty much right in the middle of the range that DeFreitas has been kicking with all game long. Dowell Loggins on the Mountaineer sideline down on one knee. He's done his work.
What a heck of a ball game.
This is just how the first half ended, right?
Heck of a ball game.
We told you. Man, when you've got postseason on the line, you know you're going to get your best effort from both of these teams. Arkansas State's been here trying to get on the right side of a one-score game. App State trying to punch their ticket with a guy that's kicked 5 field goals today. 6 in a game is the school record. From 45. The snap, the hold, the kick is on its way. And it's no good. Off to the right. And Arkansas State wins it. The Red Wolves find their way to victory and bowl eligibility on the missed field goal by Dominic DeFreitas, his 7th attempt of the day.
Wow.
And it misfires right.
Wow.
DeFreitas pushed it just ever so slightly. And you could see the immediate reaction. DeFreitas knew it was trending that way. And Arkansas State ends up with their 6th win. They snap a 2-game losing skid, and it's the Red Wolves who will gain postseason eligibility and a 30-29 final score. Avery Hall, this was a whale of a ball game, and it comes down to the very last seconds again.
Again, two football teams, 5 and 6, looking for bowl eligibility. Fought hard, good football game, tough break for Appalachian. They did everything that they needed to do to put themselves in a position to win the football game. And again, just like he's made some to win games, that one just went to the right. The sun will come up tomorrow, and it's a tough loss, but these kids fought hard. I thought they fought resiliently last week after just a train wreck at James Madison. They fought hard last week, fought hard this week. If they can keep the nucleus of this football team back, or get the nucleus of this football team back, it could be a fun year in 2026.
I tell you what, Arkansas State, 2 losses down the stretch, all on the final possession, final play of the game. And this time around, the final play sends them to bowl eligibility. Congratulations to Arkansas State, finishing the season at 6-5, while the Mountaineers will fall to 5-7. That'll do it for us here from Kid Brewer Stadium. Again, thanks for joining us all season long. For our analyst, Avery Hall, our producer, Omar Elmore, our spotter, Scott Elliott, and our entire crew here, I'm David Jackson saying so long from Boone, where the final score, Arkansas State wins it 30-29 over App State here at The Rock. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Congratulations to 6-win Arkansas State. Good night from The Rock.